I can break an apple in half with my bare hands.
David's team.
What is your technique?
I take it in the hands.
Yes. Are your hands bare at this point?
Of course they're bare.
Yes.
Friction's very much part of this this equation. You must pull it, I'm going to say east to west. A lot of people think you need to twist. You don't need to twist.
You don't need to twist.
Really?
You just
don't need to
pull apart.
Pull it apart.
How do you get the
Pull the
grip?
apple apart.
Won't your hands just slide away from it? I'd have thought you'd need to twist.
If you twist, you fail. Twisting equals tears.
So you just grip the apple in your hands and then fling them apart, and you have two half apples.
No, I rip it apart.
Yeah.
The way you were miming it then, there's like downward pressure from the thumbs, almost as if you're trying to open it like a book.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like? Because I can believe that more than the just grip, bang!
Yes. No, David, that's fair enough. Yes.
It's just you're almost like you insert.
Oh, but I so wish it was bang. It's not.
No, you're inserting the thumbs to try and pull it apart that way.
No insertion.
All right.
No,
But
that's
downward
the grip.
pressure.
Downward pressure. And there it is.
So where are the thumbs? Are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
You know where the thumbs are, David.
Where are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
Yes.
No insertion or penetration. Just
No, absolutely not. No, the thumbs are used for gripping, not for ripping. That's what I was taught. And if you remember that,
The system comes with a catchphrase.
if you can remember that, you too will be parting apples.
How long have you done this for?
I have done it for a long time. What I used to do to entertain was I used to take hard-boiled eggs, peel them, I can still do it, and I could take the shell off in one. And you actually peel the membrane rather than trying to... Don't be all rough-handed and don't, take your time. Off it comes bang.
And when did you...
That's the correct way to present. With an apple, it's this.
When did you first discover that you could do the apple? How did it come about? How did it come to be?
I can't remember the first time I did it. I can remember the feeling. But I can't remember the first time I did it.
What was the feeling?
The feeling was magnificent.
Right, David, is that the truth?
I don't think so, but it could be. Can we leave it at that?
Yeah, that's fine. OK, on to the next round. No, we can't.
I agree with that. I'd love to see him... I hope it's true, because then they'll make him do it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it.
Yeah. If it's not true,
Make
will
him
they
do
make
it
him
anyway.
try?
So what's it going to be?
Oh, I really want it to be true, but it isn't true, I don't think.
You can't pull an apple apart, can you?
You can't just rip it in half. I so want you to be able to.
If you and I can't, sure.
And I can't.
I've never tried.
Have you ever tried?
If I had an apple here, and I could have a
Yes,
few
but I think
goes.
if those two can't do it, David, with no disrespect, it's highly unlikely you're going to pull it off.
Tremendously, frighteningly strong hands, as I found out to my own cost.
So
you think it's a lie, then?
I'm afraid I do,
OK,
yeah.
well, I'll go with the Giants.
You're going to say it's a lie? All right, you're saying it's a lie. Bob, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Yes. Well, guess what I've got under the desk? My trusty box of apples. It's a proper apple. Ready,
Yes.
Bob?
It's a big one.
Thank you. Not you, him.
Does your husband play cricket?
I love that sort of thing. Where shall I do it?
I really hope he can't do it. Yeah!
OK, David, you're going to read my card again, mate?
Yes, OK, here we go. When I used to go out drinking, I would often hide a sausage roll in a tree near the pub. so I could have a tasty snack for the walk home.
Lee's team.
Why couldn't the sausage roll come in the pub with you?
If I did that, then the chances are I would have ate it during the night. And the idea is that it was a tasty treat for the walk home.
Oh, so it's to avoid temptation.
Exactly.
Did it start off hot?
No, it was always a cold sausage roll.
OK.
Because they come completely sealed.
It's not a nice one, then, from a freshly baked. It's a horrible one in sealed plastic.
If we spent all the evening in a tree, it's not a nice one, whatever.
That was my point, because I pictured it in a brown paper bag, and I thought, well, the squirrels, the pigeons, the other birds.
The squirrels, the pigeons and the other birds. You
wrong
mean
with
the
that?
squirrels and the pigeons and other birds? It sounds like you think a squirrel is a bird.
No, not at all, not at all. Squirrels, I'm very clear on what squirrels are, I always have been. But I'm saying the squirrels, the pigeons, and then I thought, I'll list some other birds. I thought, no, we haven't got time for that.
It's a shame you didn't feel that you didn't have time after the squirrels and just ended at that.
It's not just squirrels, is it, Lee?
No,
There
there's
are birds.
other birds as
There
well.
are other birds.
Was it always the same place?
Yeah, so on the way home, there was a corner with a nice thick kind of bush on a low wall, and I'd kind of shove it in there.
Did you ever get a situation where you were walking a nice lady home and it was all going very well, and then you got to the bush, reached in for your sausage roll, and that sort of ended that romance?
If that would have ever been the situation, I think I would have let the sausage roll go, mate.
Were you not concerned about insects in a bush at night time?
And not just
putting your food
insects,
in there?
other birds.
I was, to be honest, which is why I used one of the ones in the pre-sealed plastic.
So, Chris, would you ever, late at night, reach into the bush and find it to be a bit manky?
Oh, keep it light.
No, I mean,
Oh, Lee, no. I'm not having that. These people haven't travelled all this way for you to twist things around. Did you ever reach into the bush and think, oh, this doesn't feel right? Did you ever reach into the bush and think, someone's been here before me?
How far is the walk from the pub to the sausage roll?
Oh, well, the walk home was about 15, 20 minutes.
And where did the sausage roll come in? Halfway?
No, it was about 5 minutes.
5 minutes in or 5 minutes from home?
5 minutes from the pub.
So you could do the 5, but you couldn't do the full 20 without a sausage roll?
5 minutes from home, you could have put a pudding.
Well, the
Just something simple, like a penguin.
Hey, and other birds.
So what are you thinking? Now, Josie, how does this strike you?
I don't know how anybody would leave a bit of food behind. That's the...
Stephen, is this something you would ever consider doing?
I wouldn't do it. And I think if you had a 15-minute walk home, you probably could have gone past a shop.
All right, so what are we thinking, Lee?
Lie.
lie.
It's a lie.
I think
I
it's
think
a lie.
it's a lie.
He's lying.
So, they think it's a lie. Chris, was it a lie, or were you actually telling the truth?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Chris didn't hide a sausage roll in a tree for his walk home. So please welcome this week's special guest, Jonathan. So, Debbie, what is Jonathan to you?
Well, this is Jonathan, and when he was a baby, I used to pull him out of a top hat.
Bob, how do you know Jonathan?
This is my friend Jonathan, and I have brewed 3 award-winning beers with him.
Right. And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Jonathan?
This is Jonathan. One Sunday, the two of us spent 3 hours trapped in an automatic car wash.
David's team, where will you begin?
Well, Debbie, so you used to pull Jonathan out of a top hat?
Yeah, he
And
was
so, how old was he then?
about 6 months
6
old.
months.
Was he a rabbit at that stage? He's grown up into a lovely bunny.
What a cougar comment that was.
He's going for it, though. Look, he's aflame with desire. Look at him.
He's got the right hairstyle to be pulled out of a top hat.
So, where did this happen?
This was in a summer season
Where?
in Bournemouth.
Debbie, how big was the top hat then?
It was a prop top hat, so it was a bit bigger than a normal one. But, you know, babies aren't very big. He was only about this big.
6 months, not very big.
Yeah.
And so...
And was he the son of someone else in the summer season? Or
No,
was he one of the
was-
Chuckle Brothers' offspring or something?
No, it was a feature in the show, and we had different babies on different nights. You know, they were like in rotation, and they came from an agency.
So, who would bring Jonathan to the theatre?
His mother.
His mother?
Yeah.
And what would happen to him? I mean, I don't want you to give away the magic trick too much, but where was he stowed up to the moment where he's pulled out of the top hat?
I can't tell you because I'm a member of the Magic Circle and I can't give
That
the
is a
secrets
really
away.
handy thing for this game. I like it. Can you come on every week?
Well, don't give anything away, Debbie, but talk us through the trick.
There was a pretend rabbit, and then Paul would lift this big top hat from underneath and tipped it forward. And that's when I would come over as the assistant and take Jonathan out and say, and here's the rabbit's turned into a real live baby.
And the audience
And I'd
went,
be like
boo, we hate babies.
No, they'd all
How long did they have to wait to be revealed?
Not very long. It wasn't a very long trick.
So they were only briefly on stage before the
They were only briefly
reveal
in terrifying darkness alone.
Which they are in a cot when they go to sleep at night.
And indeed in a womb.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the ultimate trick, isn't it?
Now, who would you like to question next?
Yeah. Bob,
remind us what it was that you've said. How do you know Jonathan?
Because I have brewed 3 award-winning beers with Jonathan.
what are the names of your award-winning beers?
The one that's my favourite is called Kiss the Alderman. That's an IPA.
Kiss the Alderman, an IPA, yes.
IPA. Another one was a stout, and it was called Retail Park.
Retail Park.
Yeah. And the other one was a lager, and that was called... Not now, madam. It seems funny now. That's why we used it.
Not now, madam. Lager. Kiss the Alderman. Retail Park.
Can I just say, he's written these down, so I hope you can remember them.
How long did you two work together for?
About 2 years ago, I was in a field, Dion, collecting some mud to go and bury at home in my garden. And along came Jonathan, or J-Keg, as I call him. And he said, I recognise you off the telly, you're that Ray Mears, is what he said. And we got chatting, and he said, do you like beer? I said, I like beer. He said, would you like to brew some beer? And
quick!
I said, yes, I would, rather urgently, actually.
I've run out!
And he's got a brewery, JPEG.
Yeah.
It's a lean-to next to a barn, right next to the field where I was. It's quite big, actually. It might be a lean 3 or a lean 4. So I went in this marvellous little brewery that I'm imagining, and we mashed. Well, part of the process is mashing.
Right.
You put a load of hot water in the cylinder, and you have to stir the malt barley.
Yeah.
And I did that bit of it. And I thought, I adore this. Is there any way that I could see this process through, and we could call this beer Kiss the Alderman?
What is the Alderman?
He's an unelected council official. Say, for example, let's focus in on Bolton.
Yeah.
So if Bolton had a large Chinese community, but there was no representatives, councillors, they would say, would you like to informally nominate one of your Chinese community, and they will become an alderman, and they will sit on the council and be able to represent...
Right. No, that makes sense. So we've definitely covered what happens to the Chinese community in Bolton. However, back to the beer story.
Yeah, so and that was Kiss the Alderman. So we brewed 1,000 litres, bottled it, And it was the top beer in the Kent Craft Ale Society.
Can I ask, my husband is a brewer. What hops did you use?
Citrus hops. One of them's called something and the other one likewise is named as well.
I mean, this all checks out.
You know what? The thing that is the hipster brewing beard. If you were to say to me, draw a brewer, that's what I'd draw.
That's what you draw now. It's very interesting.
Now.
Whereas,
Wow, really?
whereas if someone asked you to draw a brewer 30 years ago, you'd draw someone very different, wouldn't you?
I'd draw you.
Now, what about Lee? Lee, remind us of your claim.
This is Jonathan. One Sunday, the two of us got trapped for 3 hours in an automatic car wash.
Where was it? Where was the car wash?
It was just outside the car. Near where I live in southwest London.
Whose car was it? Who's driving?
It was my car.
And was Jonathan in your car with you?
Correct. He was the passenger.
Why? How do you know
Because
Jonathan?
we can't both drive.
How do you know Jonathan?
I know Jonathan because we're in the same football team.
What is it, a bring your granddad team?
So you were you driving back from football?
Driving to football.
Driving to football.
Washing your car on the way to football. Oh, I'm looking forward to the game, young Jonathan. I really can't wait. But tell you what, let's wash the car first, so that when we arrive, everybody says, oh, Lee's doing well.
You drove into the car wash, and what happened?
So, there was 3 options. It was gold, silver or bronze. And obviously, being from the north of England, I was looking for a lesser metal than all 3. But it stopped at bronze. So I went in and I said, can I have a car wash? And he gave me the token, and I went back out and I
Was it a token? Sometimes it's a code these days.
All right, then, what he said was, the token is where the squirrel likes to hide.
When I say code, I don't mean riddle. I mean a series of numbers that you put into a keypad.
On this occasion, it wasn't.
You put the token in the slot.
Yes.
You advance into the car wash. The weird things start going.
Yeah, so the big brush at the front that goes over your bonnet, that came towards us.
Yeah.
And then the side ones came. It was the side ones that caused the main issue. They got to the door, stopped, and just kept doing that. And we couldn't open the doors. And it did not stop for 3 hours. I know, it sounds unbelievable.
What? Why don't you climb over into the back seat and get out one of the rear doors?
Because it's a 2-door car.
And I'm assuming this happened before the invention of the mobile phone.
No, that was not true. It was during the invention of the mobile phone.
During it?
During the invention. In fact, do you know what we did? We were so stuck, didn't know what to do for 3 hours, we decided to invent the mobile phone. No, it was... his phone was in his sports bag in the boot.
Where was your phone?
My phone was with me.
Why didn't you use your phone?
Because the battery had gone.
How did you eventually get out?
I absolutely screamed and screamed, and this stranger passing by saw a big button on the thing that said, emergency stop. So he pressed the button, and it stopped, and when it stopped, it reset itself back to how it should be. We opened the door, and I went in. And he went, you're back again. I said, yes, that's about my car. So what's up? I said, tell you what's up. The doors are phenomenally clean.
All right. We need an answer. So, David's team. Is Jonathan Debbie's magic mate, Bob's brewing buddy, or Lee's car wash companion?
I can't believe Lee's story is the kind of story I would have to invent to tell my husband if I'd been in a car with Jonathan for 3 hours. Jonathan looks like a hipster brewer to me.
What do you think?
I think it's Bob. I think they're mates and they've done some brewing together, yeah.
Yeah, OK,
You think Bob met him in a field while collecting mud? He said, come and have a look at my brewery.
Yes, yes.
And we're going to call our beer Kiss My Alderman.
It's not Kiss My Alderman. It's Kiss the Alderman.
I'm so sorry. If it's true, I'm sorry.
Rob, you can immediately appreciate why Kiss the Alderman is much more marketable than Kiss My Alderman. I certainly call mine the Alderman.
But very popular with the Chinese community.
So, David, what are you going to say?
I think my team thinks it's Bob. Yeah, but let's go.
OK, you're going to say Bob. OK. Jonathan, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jonathan, and I brew beer with Bob.
Yes, Jonathan is Bob's brewing buddy. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
This is the emergency kit that I keep in my car at all times.
OK.
Well, not at all times, obviously. It's here. Bye!
Next! John, will you take it out of the box and put it on the desk there?
What would have been brilliant then if he'd have took his car out?
Can we investigate it?
Yes,
Do you want
to, yes.
I'd quite like to. I'll be very careful with it.
Are you going to bring it back?
Well, yeah. I'll be careful. There we go. Thank you.
Oh, I've never given another man my box before.
Okay.
I have, it's quite nice.
There's a mug, spotted mug.
Yeah, well spotted.
Yes, here's options, Belgian chocolate.
Bill, sorry, can you be careful with that? That's his mother's ashes.
Chocolatey ashes.
And here a little bottle of
some red wine.
Can I just say this is like the most boring version of the Generation game.
Oh, the best ready, steady cook ever.
It's a sort of a post-nuclear deal or no deal.
Right, OK, so take us through why you've got these items.
Well, I'm on the road a lot, and I like food and alcohol. So I make sure I have some in case I have an unexpected overnight stay.
I love how seriously Bill and Frank are studying the product.
This has got a very curious marking on it. It's a circle and a pregnant woman and a line going across it. What's that got?
That suggests to me that they don't advise that pregnant women drink.
It's hardly hieroglyphics, Bill, is it?
I tell you what, if I found this in a car, I'd assume it was the flight recorder.
David, time to guess.
I think it's nonsense. So we have to say it's nonsense?
You're all saying it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK. John, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It is true.
And I should say, if you're thinking of compiling an emergency car kit of your own, both Would I Lie to You and the BBC would like to point out that other brands are available.
I once had a job where I had to answer the phone and say, "Hello, beef?"
There we are, Lee's team. What do you think?
What was the job?
It was a job. It was an office job where.
An office job?
Yeah, an office job.
Right.
In an office job.
Yeah, I know what an office job is.
Yeah.
The word office I'm not confused with is the bit about the beef that's getting to.
It's a government department where we dealt with beef and lamb and suckling cows.
Right. So what was the government department exactly? What were they doing?
It was it was an agricultural department of Welsh government.
So they'd ring up and say, "Hello, beef," and the kind of questions they would ask you would be.
They'd say, it was all about identifying animals.
Identifying them?
Yeah.
So you go, "Hello, beef," and they go, "I think you're just the man. I'm looking at a big black and white animal. It's saying move. Can you help me?" "Ah, it's cow. I'm beef. Goodbye."
No. Well, either that or you might want to put them through the suckler cow. Depends who is male or female.
What is a suckler cow?
I don't know. I only worked in beef.
Which was this in Cardiff or something? Or?
No, it was in West Wales.
Was it in Carmarthen?
Carmarthen.
Kidwelly?
Carmarthen.
Haverfordwest?
Carmarthen.
Carmarthen?
You should work on the trains. The Welsh office is in Cardiff, but the Welsh Office Agriculture Department, WOAD, is in Carmarthen.
So farmers would ring you up and ask you questions about
Farmers
beef?
would ring me up and they'd say, got an animal here, and it needs identification, and we would give them...
What do you mean identification?
We would give them cattle identification documents. It was the CID department, CID,
just
cattle
stop
identification.
It, stop it. I feel sick with confusion.
It's CID. I worked in CID. It was.
Oh, you worked in CID?
Cattle
that makes sense. You worked in CID.
There's been a mooder.
CID was cattle identification document, so it's like a cow passport, and they'd ask us questions about that.
Cow passport?
A cow passport. They'd ring up and they'd say, we got a new cow in town.
So you'd send out the official documentation.
They would tell me the animal's details, and we would print up a CID, cattle identification
because
document.
Because each one needed this. Everyone had to have this.
Every cow.
Oh, every cow, yes.
So what are you going to say then, Lee? Is he telling the truth?
Well, if you know a lot about cows.
A little. I've rung up departments of DEFRA and said hello, and they've said hello beef.
Yeah.
True. And the whole WOAD thing, you wouldn't just come up with that.
Unless you were very quick and very clever.
OK, we'll go with true.
You're saying true. Rod, were you telling the truth?
It was...
True!
Yes, it's true. Rod did once have a job where he had to ensure every cow had a passport. Oh, it's hard enough getting him into the milking shed, let alone a photo booth.
I once opened my curtains...
I believe you.
I once opened my curtains in what I thought was Manchester, only to see Denmark outside.
David's team.
How did this come about?
Well, me and a friend of mine had been out and had a long lunch in South Manchester, which ended up with us waking up in a hotel room, separate beds. And...
Oh, I'm sorry it didn't go better.
Thank you.
And so how did the day end?
With my friend saying, where are we? And me saying, I think we're in one of the hotels in Manchester. I opened the curtains and I saw a ferry going past and the...
How did you know it was Denmark? Did the ship say, welcome to Copenhagen?
Well,
it'd be very confusing if a ship said, welcome to Copenhagen, wouldn't it? Because wherever it went... I wouldn't put welcome to anywhere on a thing that moved.
We had to ring reception and ask the lady where we were.
So what had happened then?
Well, we slowly pieced together that we'd got slightly inebriated and decided to jump on a flight somewhere. So we rang downstairs and asked them where we were, and they said room 342. To which I said, no, what part of the world are we in? And she told us where we were.
That's a hell of an opening question. Hello, reception. Yes, where am I?
We then went down to reception to clarify where we were.
So you ring her up. She says you're in room 342, whatever. And you go, no, where in the world? And she says, Copenhagen. And then you sort of go, I'm going to need to speak to you about this face-to-face.
Simon, aren't you from Manchester?
That's why I knew ferries didn't go down Key Street,
But
see?
why would you stay in a hotel in the city you live in?
You're a very innocent man.
Henning, what do you think about this?
Utterly believable.
You seem very willing to accept this sort of hedonistic behaviour, Henning. Have you indulged in this sort of thing yourself?
Yeah, I want. Yeah. I mean...
How do you think he ended up in this country?
Michelle, what about you?
There are parts of it that I believe, because I've been with friends on those benders, but the timeline is just not adding up.
Well, I think your opinion in favour of truth is stronger than your opinion against
I think you're correct.
So I think we'll go with true.
Makes it very easy for you, doesn't it? You've had to do nothing.
Whereas you...
I am holding the whole thing together. OK, they think it's true, Simon. Was it true or was that all a lie?
Well, it was all true.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Jake. So, Oti, what is Jake to you?
This is Jake, and on the German version of Strictly, I knocked his tooth out with a high kick.
So, Oti's damaged dancer. James, how do you know Jake?
This is Jake. When he split up with his girlfriend, everyone blamed me instead of him.
Right, James's breakup buddy. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Jake?
This is Jake. I once knocked him into a grave with a frisbee.
So there we have it. Oti's damaged dancer, James's breakup buddy, or Lee's frisbeed friend. David's team, where to begin?
OK, so why were you on German Strictly?
Oh, so I live in Germany, and that's where the UK version found me.
And Jake was your...
He was the celebrity.
What does he do?
He's a weatherman.
He's a weatherman?
Wetterman.
What is he?
Wetterman.
He's a German weatherman.
But he's very talented because he's a weatherman. I mean, this is difficult to do.
Well,
and he can dance. I have a lot of admiration for the weatherman and weatherwomen. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's because all you're doing is showing people to tables. It probably looks really skillful.
How good a dancer was he? Because on Strictly, you often have people that aren't very good.
We made it up to week 9.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, in German, that's 0, so it means week 0.
No.
Nine means no.
It's close enough, Rob. It's close enough as a joke.
9 does not mean 0.
It means week no, OK?
No,
just let it go.
No, because the joke doesn't work.
Well, I think you'll find that all us lot disagree.
So what happened? You said you hit him?
Yeah, so this was during a live show, right? And the worst part is, that was the end of the number. So you have to go there and stand by the judges.
No, the worst part is he knocked his tooth out. Typical dancer mentality, and the worst thing is we got judged terribly.
But did you get through to the next week?
Yeah, it's Germany. They vote.
Germany have got a terrible history for voting for the wrong person, don't they? Why is that an ooh? Surely you would agree with that.
Yeah.
Why is that contentious?
No,
is that a room splitter?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we liked Adolf Hitler.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just contemplating the rise of fascism.
What about James?
James, what's the scenario?
This is Jake, and when he split up with his girlfriend, everyone blamed me instead of him.
Why?
Because I had to deliver the news.
What do you mean?
We wrote a letter together. We were like 15, and it was Jake's first girlfriend, and he hadn't got experience of how to break up with people. And to be fair, not even less. And we decided, he's like, I've got to break up with her, and I don't know how to do it.
Why has he got to break up with her?
They weren't really clicking, they didn't have much chemistry.
Right.
Did you write it together?
Yeah, we wrote it together in a field.
Do you remember that letter at all?
It was... I remember it started off with, Dear Yvonne, this is the hardest letter I've ever had to write.
Why were you in the field?
We went for... We liked to go for a lot of walks, me and Jake.
I can see what's happening here. Am I the only one that knows what's happening here?
Why didn't he write it on his own? Why you?
Because I think he was worried he would say the wrong thing, and so we tried to, like...
So he wanted to make sure?
Yeah, it's like, maybe we can work on it together, and we sat down in the field and we wrote this letter.
And can you remember more of the text?
I know that it didn't really drop the bombshell until a little bit in, because I remember when I gave it to her, to begin with, she was very excited to receive a letter from Jake, and then she was going through,
Did you stand there while she was reading the letter?
Yeah.
You stood there?
Well, I stood there. So she was in my form.
Yeah.
So I had to go over to her table and go, oh, this is from Jake. And she was like, oh, Jake's given me a letter. And then all the girls on the table were like, yes!
Why did you give it to in front of other people?
I was 15 years old. You're a grown man.
Did she look at you, like, did she blame it on you straight away?
Yeah, as soon as they all got to that bit, they all looked at me and were like, and were really furious with me and really angry.
Right. I see.
And Jake was, I mean, Jake's a wild boy. They kind of expected it from him.
When you say wild, what exactly do you mean?
He went through a phase when he used to jump in the school long jump pit naked. He played Mr. Hyde in a play and licked a girl's face. I was in a band with him. Really? Yeah, he was a keyboard player, but he couldn't play keyboard, so we turned it all the way down. Then we chucked him out the band and he smashed his keyboard up in the woods.
He really is a wild man. All right. Now, what about Lee?
So, Lee, what's this grave frisbee
Just remind us, Lee.
This is Jake, and I once knocked him into a grave with a frisbee.
So, how did that happen?
Well, there was a frisbee, and it hit him, and he fell in the grave. I mean, what more do you need to know, David?
Were you in a cemetery?
I was just on the edge of a cemetery. I was on the other side of a wall of a cemetery.
Mm-hmm. And so, what were you playing with? A friend? Kids?
I find frisbee on my own quite hard. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of this is Jake, and I once hit him with a boomerang, and he fell into a grave.
So, who were you playing frisbee with?
With my son.
And how high was the wall of this cemetery?
It was about... it's quite low. It's about 3 foot, 4 foot. Just a very, very low wall.
In French?
No, it was in the countryside in England.
No, because 3 foot, 4 foot is what in French? I don't know.
It is 4 foot. No, sorry, it's 4 foot.
What was he doing in the cemetery?
What was he doing?
Yeah.
He was actually the grave digger. Look at his face. Of course, I'm telling the truth. I say grave digger, I mean body snatcher.
Why were you there? Were you on holiday?
I just was having a day out to some church my wife wanted to see. So my wife and my son and me, we went off. We went off to a field, had a look at a church. My wife loves the church, so she had a look at the church. Me and my son are not interested in church. Are you all right there? And I said, well, me and you, we always take a frisbee because everywhere she goes and looks at, we're often on Oxford Street when she's shopping.
So how did she find out about that particular church?
She went on Google when she was looking about slugs.
So how did he fall in the grave?
Because he was looking at his hole. The hole he just dug, and he obviously just finished. He was very proud. It's a 6-foot hole. It takes a long time to dig a 6-foot hole. Trust me, I know. I've buried a few. And he's looking down, thinking, I finally finished. And but as luck would have it, my son missed it, went over his head, hit him on the back of the knee, and he's gone straight in.
OK. How did you know he fell into the grave?
How do I know he fell in the grave? Because there was a fella stood there and then he wasn't.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Is Jake Otie's damaged dancer, James's break-up buddy, or Lee's frisbeed friend?
I don't buy the dancing, but I think James's story is very plausible, and they look alike anyway.
That's not a rule.
They're not claiming to be brothers, they're claiming to be friends.
Well, you have to have a reason. That's my reason. There you go.
What are you thinking, Danny?
James. I really believe this story.
Yeah. David?
Yeah, I think probably James.
Oh, OK. There's no doubt within your team, David.
There's no doubt.
We think we know, and which is absurd, because, of course, we don't. But,
Jake, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jake, and James helped me break up with my girlfriend.
Yes, Jake is James's break-up buddy. Thank you very much, Jake.
I wrote my will on a bit of cardboard when I thought the plane I was in was about to crash.
Oh, there we are.
I know, but certainly, yeah, she was, I'd say, trying to make it look like she was amazed by the ridiculous thing on the card.
Like that.
But maybe she was amazed by the ridiculous thing on the card, because I imagine if a plane crashed, one of the things that would perish along with the humans would be the cardboard. So,
Are you asking me to comment on that?
I think he's just suggesting that you should have written your will on the black box.
Yeah.
I mean, that's logistically impossible. Aren't they locked in their cabins now? Sorry to argue with you.
No, you see, I don't think that the black box solution was workable either.
OK.
I think when they talk about when they find the black box, what they do is it's a recording they play rather than say read what's written on it.
Don't you mean I could have got in the pilot's cabin and just screamed my will at them?
You could have actually put it on the radio and say, never mind, Mayday, Mayday, take this down.
Was it cardboard and not paper?
It was a packet.
A packet
of what?
Do you always look this cheesed off when you're thinking?
I've got so many cogs whirring in my brain. I'm just trying to control them.
So many what? Sorry?
Cogs.
Oh.
Like you, Rob. My IQ makes double figures.
I think it's triple figures you're aiming at. So.
It was a film packet.
Why did you think it would work?
I was panicking. The bloody plane was crashing. You're not logical, are you?
What were you writing? I mean, were you writing, like, bits and bobs to each person, or was it, like, everything?
I was leaving everything to the person I was with.
Oh,
he was in the
Everything has to come through me.
So presumably it didn't crash because thankfully you're with us and, you know...
No, we thought it was going to crash.
Yeah.
And the plane had problems with the landing gear.
Well, David, you've heard a fair old testimony
Well,
here.
I don't think... Janet doesn't strike me as a
She will do by the end of the night.
All right. And I think to write a will on something that will burn more quickly than you will is a moronic act.
But the only thing that worries me was the beginning when she looked at it. I
felt double
that
bluff.
she was acting.
Yeah.
When you're thinking all along, she knows exactly what she's reading because it's the truth.
I think it was a bit double bluff at the beginning. I think it's probably true. Yeah.
And you're leaning towards
I think
true.
it could be true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just don't think it is true, but I'm happy to be outvoted. We think it's true.
You say it's true. Janet, is it fact or fiction?
True.
Oh. Yes, I was right.
How did you guess it?
Yes, it's all true. Janet wrote her will on a bit of cardboard when she thought the plane she was on was about to crash. Passengers heard a terrifying whining noise, an unearthly screeching. It was Janet asking for an extra blanket.
2 years ago, after losing my keys at a fancy dress party, I had to break into my house while dressed as Darth Vader.
Please, Steve.
Ooh, OK. I want to know about the costume. Was it a good one?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, actually. It was from a shop. It wasn't homemade.
Right.
There's not many things I can do as fancy dress. I can do Frankenstein, and I can do Darth Vader, or I can do two children standing on each other's shoulders wearing a raincoat.
How did you get in?
Do you know the bathroom window on the ground floor?
No, I don't know the house costume.
Well, there, essentially.
What, you squeezed in, you, through a bathroom window?
You know what, Rob? I used the Force.
You used a hell of a force. So what, not the little window, you mean the whole big bathroom window?
It's a stash window, yeah. And I've done it before. I went under it with a little piece of metal that's by the bins. It's an old school ruler, which I've always kept there.
A school ruler of Herculean strength, then, I should say.
No, you know the metal ones, like technical drawing.
OK.
By the way, it's no longer there now if anyone does go round to my house.
And what about the party now? Which other characters? Were there any other Star Wars characters at the party?
Yeah, and this is genuinely true. Someone else at the party was a Darth Vader, but
But you towered over him. He would have felt like a pathetic Vaderette.
Was he
how enfeebling to be the small Vader at a party?
Was he smaller than you?
Take a wild guess, Lee.
What about the voice? Did you attempt to do it for fun at the party? Could you give us a demonstration?
OK, yeah, of course I could. So I would say, for example, I know what Luke Skywalker got for Christmas. He got a Sabutio.
Was he doubling as a minicab driver?
He got a jigsaw puzzle. And he got a football. And everyone would say, how do you know that? And I would say, I have felt his presence.
What do you think, Pam?
I have a sneaking feeling that it is true, actually. You know, being shut out of your house isn't that unusual, so I think it's true.
I just don't think you've got a ruler by the bins.
I mean, a man who puts a ruler by a bin puts a key under a brick first, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Not necessarily, because the key thing about the ruler by the bins is that it's knack needed. A key is no knack needed.
Yeah,
Are you speaking English?
Yes, yeah. People underestimate the protective power of a knack. If you need a knack to get in, then essentially the means of getting in can be available because the burglars won't have the knack.
Yeah, unless they steal it and then it's a knick-knack.
Right, what's it going to be?
We'll say it's a lie.
You can say it's a lie. OK, Richard, Darth Vader through the bathroom window. Truth or lie?
It was, sorry, Pam, a lie.
It's a lie. Richard didn't break into his house while dressed as Darth Vader.
I once spent 8 hours at Glastonbury searching for my teeth.
Well, you certainly got them back.
That's it. Found them, obviously.
So, hang on, you're at Glastonbury. Now, when is this?
Well, I'd say 89 or something like that.
Oh,
99.
so height of the rave culture.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, how can you lose your teeth? That's the obvious question.
Well, because I have dentures.
What age did you lose your teeth?
A very young age, at 16.
Wow.
1989, you had no teeth apart from dentures. And how old were you in 1989?
I can't remember now.
Well, tell us when you were born and we'll work it out.
1964.
You were born in 64.
I'll take it, 25. When did you realise that you didn't have your teeth in?
Well, I went to take a bite of a donut.
It took you to eat before you realised.
I tried to bite a donut, like, something's gone on here, you know what I mean?
How many of the teeth?
The top set.
The top set?
Could you not feel that you had no teeth in?
Well, no, because I was at Glastonbury, and obviously... At the same time, my friend was searching for his sunglasses. I found his sunglasses, and my friend actually found my teeth, and he had him on a necklace round his neck and was
On
like...
a necklace?
Yeah, he found my teeth, and he made a necklace out of them.
Did he know they were your teeth when he found them?
He had absolutely no idea. He just thought it was a great decorative piece.
Did you recognise them straight away? Those are my teeth.
As soon as I seen them, I went, they are mine.
How could you tell they were yours?
Well, I recognised the smile.
Did it definitely happen? I believe that you think it happened. But did it happen, Bez? Because we had Sean Ryder on this show once, and he claimed that he taught his cat to wink.
I was actually there when you did it.
No!
Wow.
Wow, this is an incredible story.
Steve, what do you think about this?
I'm struggling with the timeline because I think if you'd lost your teeth, someone would tell you you'd lost your teeth.
Shazia?
How can you communicate with people when you've got no teeth?
That's when I really realised, you know what I mean, when you're talking, like, it's all spraying out your mouth, you know?
Yeah.
But certainly, every time anyone's showered me with spittle, I've immediately started a search for their teeth.
Right, it's time to decide. What's it going to be?
It's a lie.
How do you do that without moving your lips? It's brilliant, that.
It's a lie.
I believe it. I think it's true.
I think it's the kind of story, if anybody else said it, I'd go, you can't lose your teeth for 8 hours and not know.
Yeah.
And you add word bez into it, and you go, maybe. Do you think it's a lie?
It's a lie.
I'll concede. I'll go lie then.
Oh, I'd just like to say true.
Oh, no!
We'll go lie. We'll go lie.
Lie.
Saying lie.
Go for a lie.
OK, they say it's a lie. Bez, was it a lie or was it in fact the truth?
It was actually the truth.
It's true. Bez did spend 8 hours at Glastonbury looking for his teeth.
Possession.
Ah, right, there's a box just there. So lift up the box, place the item that's in there on the desk, and then read the card.
This lives in my workshop, and I watered it every day for a month before someone pointed out that it was plastic.
OK, right. Lee's team.
Where did you get it?
It was a gift. Someone gave it to me for a chair.
Yeah, I know what a gift is.
Yeah.
He's sharp, isn't he? He's sharp.
Who gave it to you?
A person whose chair I did up, they gave me the flower.
You're welcome to inspect it yourself.
Can we have a look at it?
Your keen observation.
Should we go and get it?
I don't want to get it, but we should.
I'm happy to wheel you over there, because it's got casters on it.
It looks heavy.
Here we are.
Careful, Rob.
It's very
makes
light.
me think you'd know it was not with soil. Yeah.
What is that stuff? Yeah, it's like a... That looks quite real, that stuff at
The
the
mossy
bottom.
stuff, yeah.
I don't feel real to you. It's not going to smell. It's not real. Have you not been listening?
Maybe it is. What would happen if you put water in it, Lee?
It's not real.
No, but what would I wonder if the water would penetrate
Put it on
this
top of there.
thing.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Right, well, it is
Bit
absorbed.
more,
It does absorb it.
It absorbs.
Oh, no.
Well, it didn't
you've
there,
done
but
too
it did
much.
absorb. It does absorb quite a lot of water, doesn't it? You did it for a month.
About a month, yeah.
For how often?
Probably about 3 times a week. I
3
did it.
times a week?
You gave
3
it
times
12
a week.
waterings. How much water did you put in?
Only like an egg cup.
You filled the egg cup with water.
Not filled. I didn't say I filled it.
Do you know, Rob? It's only the last 30 seconds I've realised you've still been stood there.
Just wait for
Why are you still there? Because I find this a bit... You know about the restraining order, wouldn't you? Always 5 metres away. 5 metres away.
Do you want it back, Rob?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
back.
Thank you very
Sorry,
much.
pardon me.
How long's he been hovering?
So you're saying 12 times you topped it up with half an egg cup?
Almost half an egg cup.
Almost half an egg cup?
I've got a lot of antiques in my workshop.
It's an antique
It's an
egg cup.
antique egg cup, yeah.
And what does it look like?
It's a little ceramic...
Well, they were very different back then. Before the war, eggs were rectangular.
Could have been a dojo egg.
So after the 12 waterings, or the month, had elapsed,
Yeah.
what made you realise that it was fake?
The customer had called me back just to say she enjoys the chair and stuff like that, and how am I getting on with the plant? And I said, I've been watering it, but it hasn't grown.
Did you expect
See?
it to be a tree after the month?
Well, she said it will blossom a bit more, is what she said.
Whoa.
She said that.
She what? What, on the phone she said that?
No, she said that while she was there picking up the chair. She
So
said
when
it
she
would...
gave it to you,
Yeah.
she said it would blossom a bit more.
Yes, if I water it.
But it's not real. So are you telling us that she also didn't know?
No, basically, she did tell me that it would blossom if I watered it when she picked up the chair. And then when she called me up and she said she was enjoying the chair, I said, I've been watering the plant, but it hasn't blossomed. She started laughing. It was a practical joke. She was playing on me.
Bingo!
Thank you.
So she said to you, ha, 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 and you said, why are you laughing? And she said...
It's plastic. She just started laughing. And her dentures fell out as well at the same time. So she had to pick those up and put them back in.
Were you on FaceTime?
No, she
Well,
doesn't
how do you know?
fa-
Yeah. Did you hear a gentle thud? Was it... and then...
It was more like a wind action. It was more like wind coming through the phone. That's what it was. So it was a laugh, like, wind, like she was blowing. She was laughing, but it was like... she was just going...
Bob, what do you think?
Well, my instinct, as soon as I held it, it's so light that I wouldn't believe that it had soil in it and was a living thing.
I did think it was a little bit more real than I was expecting it to be. It had a leafy texture.
It did, yeah.
You didn't think it felt real at all, did you?
No, I feel like I could see the seams. Yeah, it's not real.
David, do you think it looks real?
Yeah, I do think it looks real.
Orchids look like that. Orchids are very delicate.
I would say, to be fair on it, it looks exactly like a real flower. To the extent that I think that's what it might have been designed to look like.
OK, it's time. What are you going to say?
I think it's tosh. She laughed for an extended period. You're not laughing for an extended period about that, are you?
She might have a dull sense of humour.
95% of what Jay has said is a lie, but I think it's true.
It can't be true. It's got to be a lie.
OK.
It's got to be a lie.
It's up to you, Alice. It's for you.
No, it's for you.
No, I've said true.
No, I'm not getting involved.
You said
No, I'm not saying anything.
Don't put it on
What
me.
do you think? I feel...
You get invited back. This is my only chance.
It is a lie.
You're saying it's a lie?
It's a lie.
OK. So, Jay, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling a lie.
Oh!
When I was 8, for about a year, I insisted my parents set an extra place at the dinner table for Steve Davis.
Wow, please, Steve. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
It's not about that.
It is to me.
I reckon you are, to put it in Steve's language,
Casting age.
3 reds and 4 black. That's a good point, Steve makes. I can't do 3 reds and 4 blacks.
It's impossible.
But it took a me, didn't it?
I know, I've forgotten, and I'm a commentator.
Can I just say, you can, because you could use the black ball as a free ball, as a red, and you could get 3 reds and 4 blacks. So you're wrong there, Steve, but never mind, you're new to it. What era was this?
It was in the 80s.
So when Steve was like the world champion...
Steve Davis at that time, for me, was my hero.
But still is, surely. So, you'd never met him? You
I had met him.
Oh, you had met him?
Yeah.
Where did you meet him?
I met him in a shopping arcade in Warrington.
This story's pretty rock and roll.
Have you ever been in a shopping arcade in Warrington, Steve?
I don't know, because the 80s were a long time ago. How old are you?
What was Steve doing in the shopping arcade?
Signing things for
Yeah,
people.
I did sign
And did you
things.
take something to sign?
No, because it was a spur-of-the-moment thing. I didn't even know he was going to be there.
Oh, it's a
And so, but you met him?
coincidence.
Yeah.
How did that conversation go?
I can't remember. He shook my hand and he signed a little piece of paper for me. He said, keep up, because I said I really wanted to try and play snooker.
Oh.
He said, you've got to keep practising and practising.
Used to say that. I used to say that.
Did you used to say
Yeah,
that?
a lot of times, yeah. No,
I think because he was so encouraging then, it really spurred me on, even though I wasn't even tall enough to start playing snooker, because it was really hypnotising when me and my dad used to watch it on the telly.
Mm-hmm.
I used to just want him to be there all the time at meal times. It made me feel very safe.
And did
Oh,
you...
it made you feel safe.
What? Don't be like that. That's a nice thing.
We haven't found out how old he is. He was probably born in about
You've got
78.
Wikipedia.
Born in 78, I'm going to have him down as a 39-year-old man.
Yeah, we'll take that. That's fine.
The fact is that, as Sarah
Let's just
pointed
leave
out,
it there. 39. That's
actors
nice.
often
Actors
don't
don't
like
like-
to
No, they don't.
disclose their age because
Yes.
they feel it might prejudice people
Yeah.
against casting them, and I wouldn't want to do that
Yeah.
with Craig.
It's true.
Do we need to ask more questions? I'm just worried about the fact it might be true.
You're worried that it is true?
I'm worried it's true.
Because he
Why is
will
that
freak you
worrying?
out a bit.
Yeah, have a freak
Really?
out, yeah.
Why?
Will it?
Because he's a bit weird.
Well, I mean, nobody likes stalkers, do they? I mean, like...
You can't stalk someone by staying in your own house.
Yeah. You
But
actually, if you think about it, you were in his house.
Yeah,
and you were
it's
stalking
you.
him.
You were going...
So look, you're obviously a big Steve Davis fan. How many times had Steve won the World Snooker Championship at the age of sort of mid-80s?
3.
3. Does that add up?
Yeah.
What did you like about Steve Davis? Why was it... Why didn't you have an imaginary Bill Werbenick?
Because I'd never seen anybody quite like Steve Davis.
You believe it, don't you?
So what's it going to be then, Lee? Do you think it's the truth?
I think it's true.
Are you into snooker?
No. But I've had a lot of fun listening to all the colours and all the numbers. I'm really missing out.
Steve, what are you thinking?
Oh, I don't want to know about this now. And the thing is, if I say it's true because I've been sucked in, how stupid am I? I'll be the third stupid person on this team.
You think it's true, Steve? You think it's...
I think it's true. I don't want it to be true.
I think we're going to have to say true, then.
OK, you're saying it's true. Let's find out. Craig,
Steve.
was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
Are you not interested in Steve Davis at all?
No.
I did like his character when he was spitting image. I like that.
I once stole the shirt off a scarecrow in order to get into a nightclub.
Leasty.
Wow. OK. Was you not wearing anything before you went to the nightclub?
Me?
Yeah.
T-shirt, you see.
OK.
Oh, well, they wouldn't let you in?
Yeah, but well, it is, you know, it's all a bit more relaxed these days because the dress code isn't what it was back in the day.
What was the day? What year?
Back in in my day, or when this happened.
Well...
It was early 2000s.
Right, so early 2000s, you've gone to a nightclub. Where was this nightclub?
In Rochester.
Rochester is a town, right? And that's why it's got a nightclub in it. And scarecrows don't really tend to be used in towns.
What
because
a
they're
very
in
good
massive
point.
fields.
Thank you, Miss Martin.
When did you find out you needed a shirt to get in the club? Did you go to the club?
When
and
the
then
bouncer said, you ain't coming in.
Right, and then you walked back to the scarecrow to get the shirt?
I walked back to the allotment.
This is very high-level play.
This is like chess, isn't it, between Sean and Joe?
Take that, Moriarty.
Do you live in Rochester?
No.
So how did you know there was an allotment in Rochester near the nightclub?
I lived near it then.
Oh, I see.
It's like fencing, isn't it?
But then again, if you lived in Rochester, why didn't you just go home and get a shirt?
Oh, this gets better and better. Checkmate.
No. I was born in Chatham, but brought up in Maidstone. But my uncle lived in Rochester, and it was one of the allotments on his patch, so I knew where the allotments were. Apropos to the nightclub.
Miss Brown, back to you.
Can I ask, earlier
Yes,
you
sir.
said you had a T-shirt and trainers and jeans on.
Yes.
And you thought it was a relaxed club, but then you went to the club and they said you need a shirt, but you're not allowed in a club with trainers on.
OK. The bouncer was a
Can
big...
I just say, Sean, you're the kind of person that every time you speak, you always sound like you're going to start it with, I'd like to change my story.
But is that the impression I'm just giving you?
For the sake of the tape, the accused has walked into the room.
The bouncer was a massive fan of EastEnders and was quite embarrassed at turning me away. So I think when he saw the effort I'd made, because I was already 8 pints to the wind, so when he saw the effort I'd made, I think he just couldn't bear turning me away again.
OK.
What do you think, Joe? Could this be true?
I think he'd have had a better time if he'd popped down the graveyard. I think there's a lot of anomalies in it.
This is what I think. A man who knows exactly where an allotment is because he knows the town so well knows you can't get into the nightclub without collars. And for that reason, Sean, we find you guilty.
So what are you saying, Lee? You think it's a lie, don't
Lie.
I think it's a lie.
you? You think it's a lie? You all
Yeah.
think it's a lie?
We all think it's a lie.
Sean, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
It's a lie. Sean didn't steal a shirt from a scarecrow.
I once had to explain to the police why I had 2 coffins in the back of my van.
David's team.
Imagine I'm the police. Why have you got 2 coffins in the back of your van, sir?
Well, I was doing a touring play at the time, and there was vampires in it.
Yeah.
So we had 2 coffins in the back of the van as props. And we were actually in Germany doing this play called Neighbours with Long Teeth. And
Things never translate from English to German.
Why did the police stop you?
Well, unbeknownst to us, the head of the Deutsche Bank had just been assassinated in Frankfurt.
Right.
And they were stopping everyone.
And so they were pulling over basically all vans?
They were looking for anything dodgy, basically, I guess.
Right.
Where were you? Which city?
It was just outside Frankfurt.
I live there.
Do you?
Yeah.
So they pulled you over.
Machine guns, everything. Very, very serious situation.
Yeah.
And we had to explain the plot of our play, Neighbours with Long Teeth.
Because you speak a bit of German. So
Yeah.
you were the... How many of you were there?
3 of us.
Oh, you should have said 9.
What sort of venues are you touring around?
Schools.
Schools. So...
Schools. The plot went that I was a sort of young 17-year-old schoolboy who'd fallen in love with my neighbour who was a vampire. And she came up out of the coffin, and that's where we first met.
And what was the other coffin for?
The other coffin was for her parents, her mum or her dad. I think they shared, because they're a married couple, they're allowed
like a double.
to...
I mean, to be fair, Moxie is loving this show.
And how did you explain all this to the police?
It was a lot of mime.
But it's quite a complex plot, so how would you convey it to them?
I think they had more things on their mind than the foot. They didn't get to Act 3.
So, yeah. Yes, at what point in your description of the story did they glaze over?
Right, Bez, what do you think?
Well, I love the plot of Neighbours with Long Teeth, and it's got to be true with Stephen, I reckon.
You think true, Motzi?
You don't think any of this is true, do you? You don't think this is really happening?
But don't you remember when the president of the Deutsche Bank was assassinated in Frankfurt?
When did this happen?
It would have been its late 80s.
I just born. Like.
So you're not a suspect?
That wasn't a big part of your childhood. Kind of. Let us tell you the story of the president of the Deutsche Bank.
Right, what's it going to be?
Well, I live around Frankfurt area. I mean, even if I wasn't there in the 80s, I think I would have heard the story.
How old were you when you went to Germany?
18.
You arrived in Frankfurt
Yes.
over 20 years after Steve's van was pulled over. I am not surprised they didn't mention it.
But this is a story. This is culture. You carry that on.
A school's tour of a play about vampires, and the police pull over their van once on what was quite a busy day for the police. I cannot share your confidence that they would have mentioned it to you, an 18-year-old dancer coming from South Africa. I don't think that would be on the things you need to know. Local restaurants, you know, this is how you pay the tax. The bins come on Tuesdays. Oh, and I must tell you, back in the late 80s, there was a guy here and he had a couple of coffins in his van. Turned out it was just a school's tour. If that's what you're basing it on, I'm going with Bez.
OK. So you're saying it's true?
Yes.
So, Steve, was it true or was it a lie?
True.
And they never mentioned it.
I'm moving out. No.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Eamon. So, Tom, what is Eamon to you?
This is Eamon, and after a night out on the tiles with me, he was unable to walk for 2 days.
Right, So, Tom's partying pal. Vicky, how do you know Eamon?
This is my neighbour, Eamon, and for about a month, we each thought we were conversing with an owl, when in reality, we were each hooting at the other.
Vicky's featherless friend. And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Eamon?
This is Eamon. He caught me climbing out of the boot of my car after I'd smuggled myself into his safari park.
David, where do you want to begin?
Well, Tom.
Yes?
So what was it that happened to Eamon that stopped him walking for 2 days?
None of your goddamn business. I was doing a gig.
Mm-hmm.
We went out.
Describe the evening.
We went to a nightclub and we got drunk and... Sorry, everybody. And I was actually thrown out of the nightclub when I tried to prop myself up on a rope barrier and fell on the floor.
Well, hang on a minute, Tom.
Yes.
You've done a gig
Yes.
where you're compos mentis, you're sober,
Completely.
you're being your wonderful, glittering self,
Yes.
you're entertaining literally dozens of people. And then you go out with
Yes.
your friend Eamon,
Yes.
laughing Eamon there. What does he do?
He's a photographer.
A photographer.
Does he take photos of you for your desktop file?
So you fell over.
Yes.
The bouncers go, hang on, someone in here has been drinking.
Yes.
And throw you out.
Yes.
I hope they said it in exactly that voice, Derek.
So then, Eamon, being my friend, took me back to my hotel, but I could not remember what room I was in, and so he had to put me in the lift. He went up to each floor to see if the key would work on any of the doors on that floor. So Eamon went off to try the doors.
Yeah.
He didn't want to leave me in the lift in case the lift door closed and I went to another floor and he never saw me again.
Yeah.
So he draped me across the threshold of the lift.
Yes. Yeah.
So the doors were constantly opening and closing across my head.
How many floors did he check?
I think it wasn't a huge one, but it was probably about 6 floors high.
6 floors.
And on 6 separate occasions, the lift doors are
Exactly.
banging on your head.
Several times on each floor. And at that point, he realised I was actually staying not in the main part of the hotel, but in an annex next to it, which had no lift, and so he had no choice but to drag me to my room.
And
where
all
he
this
opened the door
lugging and dragging
and
left him unable to walk.
Did his back in and left him unable
I'm
to walk
surprised
for 2 days.
you could walk after all that.
Well, I'm a very resilient person, Esme.
Who would you like to question next?
OK, so, Vicky.
Just remind us what it was that you said, Vicky.
This is my neighbour, Eamon, and for a month we both thought we were conversing with an owl when in fact we were just hooting at each other.
Could you show us a hoot?
That's rich coming from you.
OK, so what I heard was...
That's a ghost.
And I went, because I'm quite keen on owls, and I went...
What's that? That's a mouse.
No, it's the call and response of the tawny owl.
Is it? And you thought, we must welcome the tawny owl.
Yeah. This owl gonna be lonely.
Yeah.
Unless I let it know that it has a friend.
Do you realise that what you're doing, strictly speaking, is grooming? Because you're not an owl. You're pretending to be an owl under false pretences to...
Catfishing.
I hadn't really thought that it was owl fishing.
Yeah. OK.
Yes.
What happened next?
Cut to, a few nights later, I am going to the back door, and I go and I think, well, I wonder if that owl is out there. So I go...
Oh, hang on, that's the reply.
Why didn't you do the oo?
Well, because actually the wit is the call, and the woo is the reply.
Well, hang on then. Why did you wit when you heard a woo? Because that owl was clearly already talking to someone else. Finally, there's an owl in the area, and you just interrupt.
And And how did you find out he wasn't the owl?
Look at him. Would it be great now if his head just span round?
At the end of our road is a off-licence shoppy type thing, and I was in there, and Eamon was buying a Sunday paper. One of the things that was in there was a supplement which was about nature, and one of the things that they'd done a survey on was something called owl prowl. And it was lists of sightings of owls.
Can I just say, I've had years of experience in this. You are digging a massive hole. You didn't need to mention the supplements.
Anyway, owl prowl.
Sorry, so owl prowl, yes. And I said, I think there's an owl in this neighbourhood. And he said, there is, I've heard it. And I said, I think it's a tawny owl. And I said, in fact, I heard it last night. And he said, so did I. And then it gradually dawned on us both that what we'd been doing was...
I see.
Hooting.
Yeah.
Is this the plot of like a rom-com with Meg Ryan?
Yes. What about Lee? Would you remind us of your claim?
This is Eamon. He caught me climbing out of the boot of my car after I tried to smuggle myself into his safari park.
How long ago?
This was 13 years ago.
So what was the saving?
The saving was, I think it was £35 for an adult.
Right.
But the reason why I didn't want to pay is because I had been before to the safari park and I'd come out without the annual pass and I was annoyed. So I got so irritated and we had a bit of a row, me and my wife, because I said, go back and get the annual pass, and she said, no. And in the end, I said, well, look, I'm just going to sneak in the boot. We had our baby on the back seat. He wouldn't get in the boot with me, so...
So when you were in the boot, how were you lying in the boot? How big a boot
like
was
now.
it?
How were you found, Lee? The plan was that,
the plan was
you'd
to just
get driven in.
Yes. So what happened, I said to my wife, is once we're in, pull over when it's safe, and she stopped. But the reason she stopped, I thought because we were safe, but no, it wasn't because she was safe. It's because a load of monkeys were crossing the road. So she stopped to let these monkeys cross. I think it's now safe to get out. We've got a safety latch in the boot. I think the thing, I got out...
You let yourself out of a boot?
Well, there's a little latch on...
Oh, there's not?
There is.
Is
safety
there?
latch. There has been since 2013.
Can I ask you
All
something?
boots have to be fitted with an inner safety latch.
But this was 13 years ago, not 2013.
Exactly. So luckily, I had an advanced model. I had the prototype. The first car on the market to have a boot latch inside it.
You get out...
Do you not remember the advert? Sick of your boot only opening from the outside? No longer. With the new Skoda internal boot latch. 6.4. No, so Eamon, who is working at the safari park...
As what?
He was the ranger, and his job was to make sure people...
What sort of equipment did he have?
Oh, he had it all. He had a big net.
Pith helmet?
No, he had a big net, he had a gun, he had a thing over his thing with lots of little darts in. He had a safari jacket on.
He had a snooker cue, a tennis racket, he had a banjo. And he spotted you climbing out of the boot.
Correct.
What were the monkeys doing as you got out of the boot? Did they just go on with their business,
luckily,
or did
the
they...
first thing they did was they removed the dead zebra that was lying on the floor, and that's what they were using to cross. But they... It's confusing when a zebra just dies. Everyone just walks across and does it.
And your wife must have been alarmed.
No, that's just the car. So I get out the boot, there's mayhem, he comes over, what are you doing? Get in the car! And then he does something to the monkeys, which is like he waves something and they run. He just goes, and they go, and they run.
Are you just retelling the plot of Jumanji?
The monkeys have gone.
The monkeys are gone because he waved the anti-monkey stick.
Can you remember what it looked like, this anti-monkey stick?
Yeah, I remember it being very bright. I remember it being like a light, a very long light, like a
lightsaber,
like Star Wars.
Like a lightsaber.
He had a lightsaber.
He'd say, this is a job not for the net or the dart gun, but the lightsaber.
Right, he started doing that.
So
I think this was a lie, but I think Lee is starting to believe it on some level. Yeah. He's so far into it.
What happens then?
So then he's telling me off. First of all, get in the car. Safety first.
Yeah.
So does
he get in the car with you?
He gets in the car. Now he starts telling me off through the window. Now, I can't open the window, which I tried to do politely. He went, close your window. So he went, what the hell are you doing out? Can't hear you. He said, leave the window on. You've not opened the window. I said, I can't hear you. Don't open the window. I said, I can't hear you. Don't open the window. And then eventually thought it'd be easier to just get in.
Difficult
this is 13 years ago, by the way.
for him to get in with all his equipment.
And the baby in the baby seat in the back seat.
He gets just past the baby. He sits in between the baby. There's the baby. There's me. And there's baby.
So you're in the back as well. You didn't get in the front.
I didn't get in the front because I just panicked. He said, "Get in the car now." I just got in the first door I saw.
Okay.
And I had to climb over the baby. Then he had to climb over the baby. Shut both the doors.
Your wife's in the front, and in the back are you, Eamon, the baby, the net, the lightsaber, and the dart gun.
Correct. You all right?
Oh, look, he's crying at the memory of it.
It's bringing back tears, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
How does this come to a conclusion, Lee?
Well, so he looked at me and he said, is there any reason you've made me come in here with all this paraphernalia? What kind of idiot would get out the back of it? Are you trying to sneak in and not pay? I said, well, the thing is, stop laughing. I said, the thing, at least comb your beard up so it covers your mouth. And my wife said, don't talk to me like that. And he says, why are you sneaking in? And I told him the story I told you. And he didn't believe it either. Yeah. And he chastised me. He gave me a good telling off. He said, you're risking your life here. He says, you're not going to believe this. He says, but exactly a week ago, a fella got out the boot of his car. And unfortunately, he'd used a new banana shampoo, and they literally dragged him off into the forest, and he was never seen again.
I remember. I think I read about
that. Do you remember?
It's OK. You can relax now. We need an answer. So, David's team is Eamon Tom's partying pal, Vicky's featherless friend, or maybe Lee's wildlife warden.
What I don't get with Lee's story is why, in the beginning, was he going to lengths of sneaking himself in like a journalist entering a war zone when it was just a safari park?
Because, I mean, listen, we just had a baby and things were tight. I mean, I'd spent most of my money on a new car that had a new facility to get ourselves out of the loop.
Basically, we have 3 stories. One of them isn't possible. Yes. 2 of them are unlikely but possible. And I think I'll leave it there.
So who's it going to be then? Time to decide.
I don't know. So you think Tom?
No, I think Vicky.
You think Vicky? If you're divided,
yes,
I will cast my casting vote for Tom.
Saying it's Tom. OK, Eamon, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Eamon, and I had to get Tom back to his hotel room.
Yes, Eamon is Tom's partying pal. Thank you very much, Eamon.
I once watched a sad film immediately before breaking up with a boyfriend so I could generate enough tears to mask my indifference.
Right. Wow. Lee's team.
When was this?
This was about 12 years ago.
Right, so the obvious question to ask is, what was the name of the boyfriend?
Jan.
Jan? Jan.
Jan.
Do you mean Jan as in Jan because he was Scandinavian?
No.
Do you mean no as in N-O?
It was a nickname.
Yeah?
For January.
Oh, his name was January, now it makes sense. What was his surname?
Warren.
January Warren?
Yeah.
How did you meet January Warren? At a calendar fair or something?
Yes,
How long have you been seeing each other?
4 months.
And what was the film you chose to watch?
Beaches. So sad at the end.
I don't think I've ever seen Beaches.
Bette Midler. Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Bette Midler.
Say Bette Midler one more time.
Bette Midler.
I remember it now.
The wind beneath my wings. That's where that song is from. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be.
I feel like I should press a button to close the curtains at the creme at this moment.
Sarah, I'm going to be January Warren. And we're going to recreate it, OK?
OK.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing, honey? I just gotta tell you, I've never been as happy in a relationship as I am... as I am with you. Honey, you look a little upset. What's the matter, sweetie? Honey, is something wrong? You want some fun time? Make it right?
I'm not happy.
You've been watching Beaches again, right?
It sounds like I've been watching the Muppets.
I don't know if I'm upset about the film or your American accent, but I can't spend any more time with you, Jan.
You know what? I'm turning into a Fozzie Bear as well.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you watch Beaches with him?
Yeah.
You sat with him to watch it,
Oh.
and the plan was
that's
always to
devious.
finish by the end of the film.
I thought, I know I'll cry if I watch Beaches, and that he would be, like, less angry because I was already crying.
So how did January react?
He was sad.
Well, he'd been watching Beaches as well.
He's been-
So already he's in a terrible mood.
He was sad, but he told me that he understood.
What do you think, Kate?
I think that I would choose Beaches to make me cry. I think that's plausible. I think because it's a really sad film.
Ed, what are you thinking?
I think it's true. They're 100% true.
I'm going to go 70% lie.
Right, well, I'm going to commit even further. I'm going to say 50% true. It's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie?
Of course it's a lie.
OK, Sarah, truth or lie?
A lie!
It's a lie. Sarah didn't watch a sad film just before a breakup.
Right. I went into labour after trying out an over-ambitious dance move at my baby shower.
Gosh, David's team.
Right, so what was the dance move?
Well, it's a bit naughty to say, but it's something drop.
Right.
I did that drop and the baby did drop.
Why don't we call it a smut drop?
A
People at
smut
home will
drop.
know what we're talking about, but we won't get any letters. Well, you don't get letters now, do you?
So what is this move?
Well, you just basically fall to the floor.
So talk us through what happened. You're out there, you're doing that. What happens?
Well, I had a baby shower and I had a DJ. He just got the crowd going. And then I went to the toilet after I'd been dancing like that. And so it wasn't quite right. And so I told everybody when I come back, I think my waters have just broke.
Oh, dear.
And they said, no, it'll be something else. But I said, well, it is a bit silky.
They think you're spinning a web.
I'll tell you what, that's a weird episode of Spider-Man. Imagine shooting that out across and then swinging along on that. Blimey.
So when did the baby come, then?
So it's really uncomfortable. But the next day, I had my midwife appointment, and they said, any leakage? And I said, yeah, at my baby shower. And then they gave me a checkup, and they went, he's got to come out. You've split the bag.
And you'd split. And it was your dancing that caused... If you hadn't done that dancing, he would have stayed where he was.
Well, he was fine before. So I said, oh, he can't come out now because that'll make him a Virgo and he's meant to be a Libra, but they just did not care.
They're unfeeling, aren't they, in the National Health Service?
Yeah.
With all this water, he sounds more like a Pisces. Could have gone with Aquarius. No.
What was it? Should have been a Leo. What was it?
No, he's a Virgo. Amy should have been a Libra.
Yeah, and is he not the child you hoped he would be?
So what do you think? Now, Shirley, are you a mother? Do you have children?
I have children.
Right.
Want some.
So of all of us here, you're the most qualified to say whether this rings true.
It just seems a little bit far-fetched. I don't think you'd want to go all overnight and go to sleep if you were in that kind of pain.
Yeah.
Well, I was in London, so I had to get back to Bristol.
Why did you have your baby shower in a city that you don't live in?
Because My friend organised it for me.
And they just wanted it more convenient for them.
How long was it then until the baby came?
Well, they tried to induce me.
With what, sweets?
That's entice, Rob. That's entice.
Oh, sorry. So what are we thinking?
Do you know what? I think she said split the bag with such casualness that I think that did happen.
I think it's a lie.
Shirley's...
I can't imagine it.
Shirley has given birth, so she's the expert. Chris isn't. I think we'll go true. Lie.
OK. Josie, was it true or was it a lie?
I can confirm.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Christina. So, Joe, what is Christina to you?
Well, this is Christina. I once borrowed her car, then later watched in horror as a Frenchman crushed it with his lorry.
Right, Joe's carless companion. Kiri, how do you know Christina?
This is Christina, and my dog ate the tip of her finger.
Kiri's dog's dinner, and finally, David, what is your relationship with Christina?
This is Christina. When my list of implausible things that have happened to me that I could talk about on Would I Lie to You blew away, she returned it to me.
And so there we have it. Lee's team, where will you begin?
Joe, could you just remind me again what you said? Sorry.
I borrowed Christina's car, then later on a Frenchman crushed the car with his lorry.
So you borrowed her car?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I had to go to a gig in Nottingham.
And you've borrowed the car, you've gone to the gig, and then you've...
What happened was we got down the M1 and everyone said, let's stop and have breakfast like you do. 3 o'clock in the... 3 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Have you got other comedians in the car with you?
Yeah. And then I didn't realise, but we were actually in the lorry park and not the car park.
Did the truck reverse into your car?
It did.
All right, no. And you're in the car?
And we're in it,
So why
yeah.
didn't you blow the horn or get attention?
Because it wasn't my car.
But a horn
You're
is a
still allowed
horn.
to use the horn. I'm still not touched that, it's not mine. I've got very dirty fingers.
Excuse me. It didn't have the horn in the middle of the steering wheel. Of course, that's the first thing I tried. I went, like that.
Sorry, where was the horn?
It was on the end of a stalk, you know.
How did you fit the stalk in there if you had all these...
You said it was a Frenchman driving this. How would you know? Did he go, ooh,
Well,
le crush?
No, what happened was I was trying to find the horn, windscreen wipers.
As ever.
Yeah. And eventually I did find it, but his lorry had already hit the car and started to make a crunching noise because we were against the wall.
But it properly crushed?
No, not concertinaed it in, but it's...
Well, were you hit or were you crushed? You're the one that said crushed.
You know, crushed the front
The
of it.
crumple zone, I imagine.
He stopped. I got out of the car, went round to him, and he opened his cab and went...
C'est la vie!
I don't think he said,
that's
say la
life.
vie.
That's life!
So go on, talk us through the conversation when you saw Christina.
Well, I phoned her. I said, look, I'm really sorry, I've had an accident with your car.
And she said, not again. Have you not thought about putting plastic sheets down?
So the upshot of it was that I actually did manage to drive it home. It had the grill had sort of half fallen off.
And you drove home like that? Sorry, were you comedians or clowns? Oh, no!
Right, what about Kiri?
OK, so, Kiri, you're claiming that this lady's fingertip is missing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, this, because she is covering her hand, but she would have been told to do that to give her lie a chance if she's lying.
Cunning.
Yeah.
Is she a friend of yours?
She's my auntie.
Were you there when it happened?
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was in her kitchen.
In her kitchen. Your dog?
Yeah.
What sort of dog have you got?
I've got Jack Russell.
Little Jack Russell?
Why are you sitting like he's a little cute? He's taking someone's finger off.
It wasn't his fault. He didn't think it was a finger when he ate it.
What did he think it was? Ate it? Did he gulp it down?
Yeah.
Sorry, how much of the finger are we talking here?
So she was peeling potatoes.
Right.
But she was doing it too fast and she had her finger out like that. And then she was doing it really quickly and I was talking to her, so she was distracted. And she just went like that, and then a big curl of her finger.
That can happen, though.
Well, hang on, so now you're saying she didn't... So it wasn't the end of the finger, it was the sort of fleshy bit?
Yeah, so like the tip came off.
Ooh. And you're
then it
Jack
just...
Russell, like a shark. Smelt the blood in the air, leapt up.
And I'm presuming there was blood splurting everywhere?
Yeah, there was a lot of blood.
And what happens next? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was just panicking.
Because you thought, there's not going to be no chips now?
So my dad got, like, loads and loads of kitchen roll and just, like, held it down and then took her to A&E and she got some stitches.
Are the dog's still doing all right? The dog's
dead.
It's not... Really? That's a hell of a punishment. I'm not happy about the peeling technique, this away from you. Surely people peel towards them like that, don't they?
What?
Yeah.
No.
I peel towards.
You pull towards.
I do my carrots the other way.
Enough of the filth.
Right, now then, what about David's?
So remind us again, David.
Well, this is Christina.
Hi, Christina. Give us a wave.
And when my list of implausible things I could talk about on this show blew away, she returned it to me.
So hang on, where were you at the time?
I was in the garden.
How many things were on the list?
Oh, I mean, hundreds of things were on the list.
Well,
hundreds of amazing things that, unfortunately, I can't tell you about for obvious reasons.
So I just clarify, you've got hundreds of things on the list.
Hundreds of things on this
list. And the last
list.
few series have been the best of those things that have happened in your life?
No, because I asked them to save the best stuff for after series 30.
Okay.
In the hope that one of the pair of you will be dead.
You're in the garden to that
Yeah,
moment.
I've been copying the list out onto a fresh piece of paper.
From what?
From an older piece of paper that had become...
You're far more meticulous about this show than I am.
Yes. I keep a piece of paper with me at all times.
Yes, I know.
In my
you
diary.
need to in your condition.
Yeah. Anyway, it'd been folded up in my diary, and I've been adding these amazing, brilliant anecdotes which fans of the show will be familiar with.
Where does it blow to?
Over the wall.
Your heart must have gone into your mouth when you saw all that magic disappear.
Yeah, well, I thought this is a security issue.
Of course.
I don't want this blowing away in the world. Someone can photograph it, put it on social media, and there goes series 31 to 36 of this show. Down the toilet like the paper from the other pocket.
And so it blows over the wall. So is this lady your neighbour?
No. Beyond the wall at the bottom of the house is some allotments.
Oh. And was she allotting at that time?
She was allotting.
Do you run down, scamper down?
Well, it blew initially. It rested briefly on
a marrow.
On a, as you rightly say, on a quivering marrow. Rested on the lawn, and then another, so I ambled towards it in quite a relaxed manner, which I later came to regret, because a second gust of wind took it right over the wall into the allotment.
How high is the wall?
100 feet.
Wow. Let's have another guess.
Sure.
Thank God for that trampoline.
It's quite a tall wall.
Right. Is it taller than you?
Not 100 feet. That's an exaggeration.
OK.
So suddenly Christina is just happily in her allotment and she sees your ghostly head rising above a high wall. What a horrible experience.
Well, I certainly do look disgusting. But the upshot was...
She passed you the piece of paper.
She consented to go and pick up the piece of paper.
Were you not tempted at that point,
pass it to
given
me.
you're so high up on the fence, to just jump the wall and go and get it?
No.
So what was the chain of events that ended up with Christina and you becoming friends? Did you say, oh, you handed that sheet of paper over ever so lovely, do you fancy ever meeting up for a cup of tea?
No, we've never met up for a cup of tea.
So why is Christina here?
Have you never seen this show before?
All right. We need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Christina Joe's carless companion, Kiri's dog's dinner, or David's helpful hero?
I think it's Kiri's dog's dinner.
Why?
I can see it happening. Seems plausible.
Joe's is plausible up until the driving home bit. You can't be crushed and drive home.
Which way are you leaning, Henning?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with Simon.
I can see Kiri and him. I can see him having a drink together
as well.
They look very similar.
Yeah.
So we think it's Kiri, do we?
Yeah.
OK.
You're going to say that it's Kiri and the finger and the dog? OK. Christina, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Christina, and Joe wrecked my car.
To prove I could handle owning my dream pet, I first had to look after a series of other creatures, each one bigger than the last.
OK.
Well, so let's start with the dream pet, shall we, that we're working towards.
OK, what's the dream pet?
The dream pet was a lizard.
Whoa,
lizard.
I would have picked a bigger dream pet than that.
Well,
you'd have to, wouldn't you?
And what was the sequence of animals you had to work up to?
So I started off with woodlice.
Woodlice?
Yeah.
Woodlice. OK. They make a lovely pet.
Basically, what happened was, my mum said, you can't have a lizard. You need
How
to prove
big was your lizard that you were hoping for?
one that could, like, fit on my forearm like that.
That big?
Yeah.
An iguana? A big
Yeah, something
lizard.
like that, yeah.
You're not thinking of a crocodile?
No. So my parents were like, if you want to get a lizard, you obviously got to prove that you can look after animals.
And how did you prove with the woodlouse that you were a responsible
I had
owner?
to just look after them for a week and keep them alive for a week.
How did you do that with the woodlouse?
Just let them get on with it. Turns out they're pretty good. They can look after themselves.
So you took a woodlouse from under a stone.
Under a log.
Under a log, great.
You sure it wasn't a vlog?
What are you doing?
Writing that joke
All
down.
right, yeah. So you took the woodlouse, and what did you put it in?
In a little plastic container.
With food or with...
Bits of the log, bit of grass, that kind of thing.
Sounds like lousy accommodation.
Don't write that one down, Rob.
At the end of the week, it was still alive.
Yep.
And your parents said, great, it's time to upgrade to
stick insects.
Oh, where did you find that?
So my cousin had some, and I was
Yeah.
really jealous of them, and I really liked them, so he gave me some of his. And then I looked after them for a bit.
How did you look after them?
I had like an empty like lollipop jar.
What had happened to the woodlouse, though?
I forgot about it. They were actually quite boring pets. They don't do a lot.
They're not very affectionate, are they? Woodlouse. But it wouldn't be better if they were.
It is.
I'm not sure. Go into the garden, all the woodlice are bounding up to you, trying to lick your face.
That's the thing.
And how long did you have to keep the stick insects alive?
Just for another week.
And then at the end of that week...
This is where it all changed.
Oh,
so then was
okay.
my first trip properly to the pet shop.
A horse.
I then got 2 giant African land snails to
right.
look after, and that was a whole different ball game. You've got to keep them moist at all times. So you've got to make sure it's like warm and wet, because they like that. That's when they're most active.
So what did you keep them in?
A big container, like a big, like what you put like stuff in and put it under your bed. What's it called?
Drawer?
That's it, like one of those plastic drawers.
Lovely hot, wet drawer.
Yeah.
Great. Did you give these land snails names?
I did, yeah. Stanley and Shelley.
Named after
Shelley. I like that.
Shelley, because...
Shelley.
Yeah. Write that one down, Rob.
Yeah.
You may be good at dancing, but I'll decide which jokes make my book.
OK.
What was the next step after the snail?
The next step would have been the lizard.
Yes.
But it's the fact that I had these snails for so long, I just got bored of wanting any pet. It made me realise that maybe I'm not ready for
Very
any pet.
good parenting,
Yeah.
I would say, isn't it?
Literally waiting for the snails to die put you off the lizard.
All right, what do you think?
It sounds believable.
Sounds believable. I think it's true.
You think it's true? So, Joe, were you telling the truth then, or were you telling a lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Yes, it's true. It's Lee.
One Saturday morning, I lay on my back in the garden and pretended I'd fallen off a ladder so that I could get out of a family trip to IKEA.
David's team.
What had you been supposedly doing on the ladder to fall off it?
So, my wife said we're going to IKEA, and then you should be upset if I said no. So I said, yeah, no problems. Can we go in about an hour? She went, yeah, no problems. Why? And I said, because I've got to do something in the garden.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Trimming the tree.
So you said, OK, we can go to IKEA in an hour. I've just got to go and trim the tree.
I didn't say I'm going to trim the tree, obviously. I said I've just got something to do in the garden.
Why is it so urgent that this tree needed to be trimmed?
You're not following this story, are you, Sean? I didn't need to trim the tree.
Yeah, but surely wouldn't she go, we'll do it later?
Because it was a casual conversation. We're going to IKEA. Can we go in about an hour? I've just got to do something in the garden. She went, yeah, that's fine. And that was it. Right. We don't live in a relationship where I go, can we go to IKEA? I go, can we go now? I'm doing something in the garden. She doesn't sit me down, put a spotlight on me, and go, just a sing in the garden.
OK.
But you did potpourri last week!
So you say you've got to do something in the garden. She says, fine. So you walk out into the garden.
Yes. Go
Explain
to the shed.
how you set the scene.
I go to the shed, right?
Yeah.
I pick my tool wisely because I want to make sure that when I've fallen with it, that it looks dramatic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So what did you
pick?
pick?
Secateurs, nothing. Those big giant ones. You know which one I mean? They look like those old-fashioned bull workers, but they've got a pair of scissors at the end.
With a telescopic handle.
That's one. I still needed a ladder. They're not going to get me on that.
Do you climb to the top of this ladder?
I don't need to, do I? There's no trimming to be done.
Are you fucking...
Anyone else? There's no... I'm not Robert De Niro. I'm not method. I didn't have to go. I must become the tree trimmer.
Your wife must think you're pretty bad at it if you can go out and presumably instantly fall off the
I
ladder.
didn't say I fell off instant. I know she's going off to do something else. She says I'm going to the shops then. So I know she's out. So I position everything.
So she says in advance of going to this shop, she's going to the shop.
No, it's an expression that people say I'm just popping to the shops. They don't go, I pop into the individual shop.
It's not an expression. It means going to the shop.
No.
What is it? A euphemism in your house for what? Having a poo.
I pop into the shop.
Is it
You're going to get me on one letter. All right, I pop into the shop.
She said she was popping to the shop now. Shop singular in advance of your trip to the shop.
She might have said shop. It's one letter. Give me a break. It's series 9. She may have said shop.
Can I ask
or shops. I'm just popping out. In fact, she said out. I'm popping out.
She's popping.
She was popping out.
So. OK, so she has left the house.
She's left the house.
So
She's gone to the shop. To buy a curly whirly or curly whirlies. I'm not sure. She's gone out. I know she's going to be gone enough time for me to get a ladder, lie it on its side, do the secateur, and lie there in a position that I would describe as
Can I ask
injured.
this question? Why didn't you want to go to IKEA?
I think I go to IKEA to get out of trimming a tree.
I didn't need to trim the tree!
So your wife comes back from the shop before going to the shop, for whatever reason.
And we find that, weirdly, the different shops sell different things.
Okay.
So I have tried the old, when she goes, I'm just going to buy some potatoes, I've gone, why don't we wait till we're in IKEA? She said, no, you can't buy. It turns out that different shops sell different things.
So your wife comes back from the potato shop to
No, it's not
find...
called the potato shop.
You've finished trimming the tree and fallen off a ladder.
Yes.
How much of the tree did you get done?
Did you claim specific injuries that you'd done? When you
Yes.
said, oh, I've just generally hurt us, what? What had you done? What did you say it hurt?
I went, ah! My leg! She went, what's up with it? I said, I don't know, but I can't go to IKEA. And I claim to have injured my coccyx.
How long had she been gone?
It was probably 4 or 5 days this time. I'd say probably about 15 to 20 minutes.
Did she still go to IKEA?
Yeah, no, what did she do then? You're there in agony.
She came to help me.
She helped you up.
She helped me up. She tried to get me stood up. I held the base of my back. Is that what the coccyx is?
Yeah.
I held the base of my back. And she said, you better come inside and sit yourself down. I said, but what about the trip to IKEA? I feel I've let you down. She said, no, that was years ago. I think the bit where I was pushing it, when I shouted, love, can you put that ladder away? I mean, I don't need to go I don't want it to go rusty. I might need that in a couple of weeks when we go to Boots.
So what do you think, David? Is this true?
What do you think?
I think it's a lie.
I just think you'd save that for something a bit more...
You think it's a waste?
Well, yeah, it's a waste of an opportunity to get out something.
I love the fact
like
that
a family Christmas, you could get out of a whole Christmas.
So what are you going to say?
I think we think it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Lee, truth or lie?
It's a lie. I once gave a lift to the Guildford Four.
Well, Joe is sporting a very sort of open prison look tonight.
I once shared a tent in Kent with Susie Dent.
Lee's team.
Where did you first get to know Susie?
On Countdown.
Which is true. She's on Countdown.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of TV shows around, aren't there, where people off the telly go and camp somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's not out of the question.
I know for a fact he's been very smiley and fily with Rachel Riley.
Well, was it just you and Susie?
In the tent, yeah.
Why did this come about?
Well, it was for a television... Well, for a pilot that never...
A TV show?
Yeah, that never made it.
What was the show called?
Tents in Kent.
Quick, is Camber Sands in Kent?
No, it's in Sussex.
Oh. Well, they got it wrong then.
What was going to be the interesting, appealing television that was going to come out of it? I was
going to get paid £7,000.
Yeah, but crucially, that's not enough to make someone tune into a TV programme, amazingly.
No, I wasn't really worried about that, but...
What was the show called?
We had to do this task. I remember we had 24 hours in it.
Yeah.
And we had to complete a task in 24 hours.
What was the task?
It was like a political campaign that we had to run in 24 hours. I was running for mayor of Whitstable.
Did you have to represent a party?
Yes.
What was the party?
God, a lot of questions, aren't there?
That will happen.
And it's quite draining, isn't it?
But also, can I just point out that Whitstable is North Kent and Camber Sands is about 40 miles away in Sussex?
No, it's exactly 40 minutes in a car.
Going at 60 miles an hour.
The reason...
Hang on. I didn't stop. Just stop.
I will not stop.
A recap before we carry on. So you're doing a political campaign in 24 hours to become mayor of Whitstable, but you stayed in Camber, which is a completely different county, and for no reason so far that you've explained, you stay in a tent. What's that got to do with running a campaign for mayor?
I guess they couldn't find a yurt near Whitstable. And I don't blame them for that. I don't know why I'm getting cross, sorry.
But what does it say about your campaigning skills that you ended up in a tent with Susie Dent?
Things went well.
Why did it never get made into TV?
Because they watched it back.
What do we think? Joe, what are you thinking?
Oh, I really want to believe it, but I just don't.
Oh, fair enough.
I could have believed you're in a tent with Susie in Kent, but I think the whole political campaign thing's just... It's a distraction.
OK. All right. What's it going to be?
We're going to say it's a lie, are we?
It's a lie, it's a lie.
I think so,
We think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie. Joe, were you telling a lie or were you actually telling the truth?
It was a lie.
I believe you.
Yes, it's a lie. Joe didn't share a tent in Kent with Susie Dent.
On a recent train journey under cover of darkness in a tunnel, I secretly switched bananas with the stranger opposite because his looked better than mine.
Hey.
So, why was there no lighting in this train? Were you perhaps travelling in the 1870s?
Because it was daytime, and in daytime, they don't turn the lights on in a train.
What? So they were unaware of the tunnels on their route?
The tunnel was so brief and so quick, they didn't bother.
So it was a very brief, so it's basically like an extended bridge?
It was a shortcut.
So it was very quick tunnel, but
Very quick
nevertheless
tunnel.
you had
I would
to swap
say
bananas.
no more than 5 seconds.
Can you demonstrate how you did it?
Yeah. I had my banana, and I was looking at it thinking, you know, when yours is just a bit... It's not... I like them really yellow. I don't like that bit where they're just starting to go a little bit black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit. But it was close enough where I thought, given an opportunity, I reckon I could swap that banana, because he was reading his paper. I thought, he's not concentrating on that banana. He hasn't fully engaged with the colour.
So he was reading his paper.
Yeah.
So he's holding a newspaper with 2 hands, and then in one of the hands he also had a banana.
No, it was on the table in front of... Have you been on a train recently?
The point is, he wasn't holding the banana.
I'm not that bold.
No, fine.
I'm not that bold. That would have been awkward in the darkness. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's going on? And then the lights come on, and I go... Mine was sitting on the table, his was sitting on the table.
OK, and you saw the 2 bananas. Yours has gone a bit manky. His is pristine.
Just fractional.
Just on the turn.
Just enough that I could get away with swapping it.
Yeah, so it's plausible that he might think, oh, I thought this banana was fresher than this.
But it was like a film.
It's been 14 seconds later. Maybe it's just turned.
Did you have any reading materials, or were you just sat...
Don't mock me, you know I can't read. I was simply entertaining myself, as ever, with my Etch-a-Sketch. And I remember thinking... I'm looking at it, he's not looked at that banana once. That's wasted on him, but that's irritating me. Yeah. So and I just thought, like that, put it back in its case, I'm very protective of it. And I thought, could I? And I was tempted to do it. I thought, no, I'll never get away with this. And then suddenly, it was pitch black.
I'm struggling to envision a tunnel that takes 5 seconds to get through, but is...
Well, do you know those really long tunnels?
Yeah.
Imagine one of them, but really short.
But that renders the whole carriage just a complete blackout.
Yeah. Well, you know, all I could say, this is one important factor you're missing. Bright sunshine, eye adjustment.
Because the effect of the bright sunlight directly on your eyes...
Did I not mention how bright it was?
Very, very bright.
Oh, it was bright. I can't help thinking he wasn't reading that paper. He was shielding him. In fact, the banana was so bright, I think the bananas actually grew on the train.
Yeah. There's a moment of complete blackness.
Black!
You're almost blinded in this blackness.
Blinded. And you know, it was so dark. You know when it's so dark, you think, God, it's dark, I could nick a banana.
But that's my whole point. How did you manage to put your hand on his banana to be so... I mean, you must have rummaged around.
No, I didn't rummage. Picture the scene. The Etch-a-Sketch is away. He's behind his paper. And I'm looking, and his banana's definitely reachable, and he's not looking, and it's there. And even before we go through the tunnel, I'm tempted. I'm going, could I? No. Could I? No, there's no one looking here. There's no one looking. And I'm so close to making that decision.
Yeah.
It goes black. Get it. Get it. Go. It's full. He goes. And I'll never forget his face. I will never forget his face. He literally, it made a bit of a noise, a bit of a kerfuffle, and the lights came, and he literally went... I knew I'd got away with it.
So what do you think, David?
What do you think?
Absolute nonsense.
All right.
What do you
Just
think?
listen, give me another go. It was a pomegranate on a rickshaw.
I mean, it's a very, very rich, complete picture that Lee has painted.
Yes.
But I don't think he... I simply don't think
Grapefruit
he
in
would
a
steal
brothel?
someone else's banana.
I think he looks low on potassium as well.
Yes.
So, for you, it is a lie. Lee, were you... This is everybody's on tenterhooks to find out. Were you telling the truth? Or was it maybe a lie?
What do we think, team?
No. This is the one where you know the answer and you say.
Oh, I see. In that case, it's a lie.
Yes. Amazingly, it's a lie. Lee didn't secretly switch bananas with a stranger on the train. Please welcome this week's special guest, Paul. So, Ryland, what is Paul to you?
This is Paul. Paul's my plumber, and he came over to fix a leak, but ended up cutting my hair.
Right, so, Ryland's hairdressing handyman. Mary, how do you know Paul?
This is Paul, and every Christmas I sing carols to Paul's cows.
Mary's festive friend. And David, what is your relationship with Paul?
This is Paul, and while browsing in a bathroom showroom, he persuaded me to hop in a tub with him to test whether it would fit him and his wife.
Lee's team, where do you want to begin?
All right, we'll start with Rylan. When was this haircut?
This was Big Brother Power Trip 2014.
What did you say before that?
I measure years by Big Brothers.
Big Brother.
So how many brothers have you got?
No, I work on Big Brother, so I do it by the theme, and the reason Paul came round, I measure it by Big Brothers, 2014.
Was he giving you a haircut for Big Brother?
No, but he ended up giving me a haircut for Big Brother. So my brother-in-law knows Paul, because my brother-in-law's an electrician, and he said, Paul, do the plumbing, because my brother-in-law did the electric.
Is everyone playing tax? Just checking, because I know how these things can be.
You know what it's like.
Paul's giving me a right look.
Where was the leak? It was basically my shower was dripping, and I'd called my hairdresser Hayley, and because who comes to my house to cut my hair and colour my hair, because this isn't real, guys. Shock.
Yeah.
And I said, babe, can you come and do my hair? It's Big Brother starts tomorrow. It's the launch. I need my cut and colour done. And she said, babe, I'm in Tenerife. And I was like, are you joking? It's fine. I used to do hair when I was 16. I said, I'll just do my own colour because I've got everything indoors anyway. So I put my colour on, and then when I went to wash my hands, I realised that there weren't no water coming out of the tap. So I rang Paul and said, Paul, come over to fix my taps, and yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, then basically Paul came over and he fixed everything.
Yeah.
And I said, Paul, you wouldn't do me a favour, would you? I've obviously got everything at home. All I needed was like my sides and my back just shaved, and I've obviously got the razor. It's like number 4 setting or whatever.
Why have you got all the equipment at home?
Because I studied hair when I was 16.
Can I
so I've
say
got
one
everything at home.
rookie error?
With?
You. What you've done is you're washing your hands. Everyone, even if they're doing
Gloves.
it, wears gloves.
Yeah,
so why have you got it on your hands?
Because I was colouring my own hair, so I had to do the back.
The gloves come in the packet.
Yeah, but it doesn't go all the way out there, darling.
Oh, so it was
David, when you do yours, do you wear gloves or do you mind the dye going on?
I just get a team of people round. I think, you can't afford to take risks with your look.
Yeah.
So this was one day before you were due to film Big Brother?
It was on the Thursday and we launched on the Friday.
You let a plumber take a razor blade, shave the back of your head before you did national television.
Right, it was very, very simple. It was
Here's a detail then. So, he fixed the water, and then you had a shower to get all of the stuff out of your hair. And what did Paul do while you were in the shower?
I'd made Paul a coffee, and this was before, obviously, that I took my colour off, and I said, Paul, do you mind just sticking around 15 minutes just while I wash this colour off? I'll dry my hair and we just shave it.
This sounds a little bit like the start of Confessions of a Plumber. Oh, Paul, I just need to pop into the shower. Paul came in and there was some 70s jazz music.
And what sort of job did he do? Was you pleased with it?
Yeah, very pleased. Everyone said my hair looked nice.
How long did it take?
He did a good job. Like 5 minutes, not even
Well,
that.
it's about 25 minutes if he's a plumber with fag breaks and tea breaks. He didn't react, he's not a plumber.
I think he might have died.
OK, so, shall we move on to Mary?
Mary, yes.
Mary,
just remind us,
Singing to
Mary,
cows.
what is it that you claim here with Paul?
I sing to Paul's cows at Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Right, what do you sing to them?
Away in a Manger.
You sing Away in a Manger to them,
Yeah, and what's that one?
Well, you should know, you do it every year.
The cattle are lowing, the babe... That one, the baby
That is
away.
Away in a Manger.
Yeah. That's Away.
And,
yeah, that one, I sing that one.
I suppose the big question has to be why?
Well, because apparently they really like it. I'm not a particularly good singer. I'm not a particularly good singer, but they like being sung to, and it's a kind of...
Why do they like being sung to?
They find it very moving.
Yeah, and
Is there a reason that he chooses you as opposed to somebody who admits they can sing well?
Well, no, it's not just me.
Oh.
I'm part of the community who, live near Paul, and, we all get together to sing.
What's the actual purpose of this?
There's lots of things. You give thanks, it's Christmas, and probably, that the cows are going to be in for the chop.
Well, I was about to say, if you really want to thank the cow in a way that would mean something to the creature, you've got to let him go.
Well,
that doesn't make any sense at all. What are you thanking them for, then?
Yeah.
The thing you're thanking them for, you then don't get.
The key thing is what you're thanking them for is their forthcoming deliciousness. You've got to do it in advance, because afterwards they can't hear you.
He's a really caring farmer, I have to say this. He's, you know, a little bit of a hippie. And I'm a bit of a hippie, and we connect, and we sort of think, you know, this is a really lovely thing to do.
Not so much of a hippie that you don't mind killing the cows.
Hippies can kill cows.
You probably don't kill the cows yourself. You outsource them. That's the system.
I don't kill them.
Don't kill the cows yourself.
I think
that's very messy and upsetting. Send them to an abattoir. A lovely abattoir, a pampering abattoir. It's like a spa, but with knives.
Right. What about David?
So, David, remind us again.
While browsing in a bathroom showroom, Paul persuaded me to try out a bathtub with him to see if it would fit him and his wife.
Right.
Okay, so
How did he approach you? What was the conversation?
Well, he approached me and said that he recognised me from the television.
Right.
On which I have appeared.
Oh. You had your I'm David Mitchell T-shirt on again, did you?
What were you shopping for that day?
A small basin or sink.
A small one?
A small one.
Don't want to treat yourself?
Like those...
I should clarify. It was what I was looking for was to human scale.
David, what was going through your mind when a complete stranger walks up to you and says, I know you from the telly, will you get into the bathtub with me?
Well, it didn't happen like that. It didn't...
All right, then. It didn't happen like that, but tell us another version how it didn't happen.
Well, he initially said, I like your work on television.
Really?
It's a lie.
I'm going to say it. He asked for a selfie. We took a selfie, so it was very nice. I was feeling my...
It was very nice.
My fragile... Yeah, it was nice. Look, it's not an accident we're in this business. On some level, we have an emptiness inside that we need to fill with the approval of strangers. And a little bit of the approval of a stranger was making me feel a bit better about myself. Thank you very much.
And David...
Albeit briefly. And then it turned out he had an ulterior motive.
David, I need you to act this up because we're all talking about this like it's sensible. But it's too intimate. Unless...
We were clothed.
I know. I want to know which way round. Did you sit opposite each other with your legs
No, we both sat at the same end.
So you were spooning you?
No, of course we sat at opposite ends.
Did you choose the tap end or the non-tap end?
The tap was in the middle.
So this is the thing. For an actual rational human being to think, I wonder if I'll fit in this massive bath with my wife, I'll ask this minor celebrity that I don't know. I meant to start...
Look, Elton John was in the shop and he'd said no.
Will you do it with Rylan for me?
OK, well...
So what am I...
Well, we've got to imagine we're getting in a... You're a very tall man.
I'm quite tall.
God almighty, I can see why you can't get phones and a wallet in those.
As a working hypothesis, let's say this rectangle is broadly the bath.
Yeah.
So...
Is there any blood going to your feet?
You're in the bath showroom.
So you sit at that end, the tap's here.
Is this what you did? You took control, David?
No, I didn't take control. And then, as you can see, our legs sort of... our legs sort of, tessellated. No, in between...
You know what this is making me think, David? I'm picturing... You just look at each other now, and I'm picturing a voiceover saying, there are many ways to keep a relationship fresh and alive. Why not try sharing a bath together? I think, well done. Right, now then, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Paul Ryland's hairdressing handyman, Mary's festive friend, or David's bath buddy?
What do you think?
The only story that made any kind of sense whatsoever was Ryland's.
Why?
Ryland's?
Yeah, Ryland's.
Oh.
I can believe that a man whose obsession is being legendarily well-groomed and stylish would panic and get his plumber to do his hair. I could just about believe that.
I've been looking at Paul while everyone's been talking, and he really did light up during David's story. Like, he was really enjoying it, like he was a fan of David.
Or it might be the first time he's heard it.
That's true. That's true as well.
What about the farming? What do you think about
So that's the
Mary?
one I think is true.
The farmer?
I think that some local people would go and sing for animals at a local farm just as a thing to do.
I do believe that you can sing to a cow. I believe slightly more that somebody would have their hair cut by a plumber. However, not him. I mean, who did your teeth? The Tyler? Go on, then. We'll say Mary.
You're going to say it's Mary? OK. Paul, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Paul, and every Christmas Eve...
Yes, Paul is Mary's festive friend. Thank you very much, Paul. So please welcome this week's special guest, Zoe. So, Thomas, who is Zoe to you?
This is Zoe, and while handing her a prize at the UK Weather Awards, I was struck on the head by a Perspex lightning bolt.
Right, Thomas's weather woman. Scarlett, how do you know Zoe?
This is my old flatmate Zoe. We once discovered we'd been burgled when we arrived home dressed as burglars.
Scarlett's burgled burglar. And Lee, what's your relationship with Zoe?
This is Zoe. Together, we formed a search party and scoured a campsite by torchlight for a missing cuddly frog.
David's team, where will you begin?
Thomas, this was at what awards?
The UK Weather Awards.
And what are the UK Weather Awards given for? Best rainstorm?
Could be the best national weather presenter, regional weather presenter.
Any more? What was Zoe winning for?
She's a regional weather presenter from Northern Ireland.
And she won Best Regional Weather Presenter?
Yes.
And were you hosting the awards, or
No.
you were just there to give that award out?
I was just handing the prize to her.
And what happened?
At one point, there was just a noise and something hit my head. I had no idea what it was, and it fell from above. It was a Perspex thunderbolt. It was part of the decorations, the symbols, hanging above the stage.
Part of the set?
Yes. When it hit my head, I didn't obviously know it was a thunderbolt at the time until I saw it.
You didn't know what had hit you?
Exactly.
And then you saw what had hit you?
I was really surprised. Well, wouldn't you be?
Yes, I would be, yeah. I'd be surprised if it was true.
Who next, David?
Lee, what's the story here?
Zoe and I...
Yeah.
We had to do a late-night cuddly frog search by torchlight.
Yeah. OK, so who did the cuddly frog belong to?
The cuddly frog belongs to Zoe's very young child.
How did you know Zoe?
Zoe was about 4 or 5 tents down from us. I didn't know Zoe at all.
Paint the picture for us, Lee. You're in the tent. Have you zipped up?
Oh, yeah, we're totally flat down.
Right. You and Mrs. Mack are cuddled together?
We are, you know, we're on our inflatable mattress.
Right. What?
Actually, no, Mrs. Mack is also inflatable, and... it was very much an inflatable. The kids, they're not real either.
And then a rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, you don't do it on a tent, it wouldn't work. A flap, a flap, flap.
And what happened?
I heard a sort of distressed...
Signal.
whimper, as any way I could say. It's
A whimper. Now, who is this? This is Zoe, or is this still your wife?
This is not my wife. This is Zoe, who I don't know at this point is called Zoe.
No.
Zoe is outside the tent, sounding a bit distressed, and then I heard maybe 3 or 4 tents down the crying of a small child.
Oh.
Oh, where's my frog? He said, where's my frog? And I said, darling, we'll finish this in a moment. I must go out and... and see what's going on. So she put the Scrabble set away. So I stepped out of the tent and I said, are you OK? And she was a bit teary. She went, not really. My child's
I thought
called...
she had a Northern Ireland accent. Oh, no,
that's...
They can't all be true. Did you know that means that you're now not telling the truth?
Yeah.
Think about the logic of that.
My advice to you, Scarlett, is to pretend that your former flatmate is also a Northern Irish weather presenter.
So, I go outside the tent and I see that Zoe is a bit distressed. I said, Madam, can I be of any assistance to you?
What did you have on your feet?
What did I have on my feet? I had skis. What do you mean?
Well, hear me out. You've sprung into action.
Yes.
In the tent.
All right, I had springs on my feet.
And I'm wondering, do you do your shoes and take a while? Or you sling on a pair of Crocs?
I had my slippers on, my lambskin slippers. And I went outside with my little slippers on, and I said, are you OK? And she went, no, my child's lost his toy, and he's getting very distressed, and he can't sleep without it. And I said, well, hey, you shouldn't be doing this on your own. I said, love, get out of the tent and have this one. Well, she was snoring at this point, so I got the torch, and we went searching for the frog.
Where did you find the frog?
Well, this is the interesting part of the story.
I hope so.
Hopefully. It was actually in there's a small shop on camp, and it was in the fridge of the shop, and the shop was dark, but the fridge was lit up because the fridge stays on, and it was sitting in the fridge. Oh. The child has put the toy apparently in the fridge to play a game, forgotten about it, left it, and it's just stayed there.
You could see it behind the glass-fronted
fridge. And the shop was locked because it was night time, so we had to leave it. We couldn't. I'm going to break in through the skylight. I thought, I can't do that, can I? I can't break in for a soft toy with a woman I've never met. With a couple of torches, and we both had balaclavas on. It would have looked like...
Nasty, are you taking notes?
No, I think you're doing a drawing, aren't you?
I'm not offensive. You're just boring the life out of me. I can find myself, though. I'm not sure attention's man.
Now, Scarlett.
Yes?
Remind us how you know Zoe.
So, Zoe is my...
How you know Northern Ireland weatherwoman Zoe.
So, me and Zoe went to uni together, and we lived together, and we had been on a night out, got back and discovered that we had been burgled whilst dressed as burglars.
Right, OK.
Why were you dressed as burglars?
So, when you do initiations, because we were in the hockey society together, we had to dress as burglars, because we were in the first year, and then the second and third years dressed as cops. So we went out and we had swag bags, masks, stripy jumper, and then came back and discovered we'd been burgled. So obviously when the police rocked up, they thought we were joking. And we were in hysterics. I was just stood there with my swag bag like, we've been burgled.
Did the police think you'd burgled it yourselves?
I just think they thought it was like a uni prank.
Right.
Are you sure they were police? Because you said it was a cops and robbers party.
They legit workers, we'd rang them, yeah.
Right, OK.
And what was funny is my friend Sarah's mum came to pick me and Sarah up, and when she went in my bedroom, she started crying. She was like, oh, my God, look what they've done. And I was like, no, Wendy, this was just my room. My room was just a mess. They just took my laptop off my bed. It's fine.
Why would they smear that on the walls?
Is it? Nasty's saying you don't look the same age.
Yeah, man, that's some Back to the Future Marty McFly business. If you was in the same uni, you must be a first grade, and she was at least a year above you. No offence, Zoe.
How old do you think I am?
All right, you look, realistically,
This is no time for realism.
Early 20s, late 20s?
No, I'm not. I'm not early 20s.
Late 20s?
I'm 28 this year.
So late 20s, then?
Yeah.
Yeah? You go,
Mid to high 20s.
Yeah? Mid to high 20s, yeah? Boom.
Oh, Nasty, please
Zoe,
be nice.
You look like me, baby girl. You could be in your 30s.
Can I ask you a question, Nasty? Have you ever met a woman?
Who's that? Well, you got to be honest. We're trying to save people's lives right now. Feelings of you want the truth. You can't handle the truth. You know what I mean? It's true, though, isn't it? It's like me saying, raw, I was in school with my mum.
Yeah, but Zoe's younger than me. Zoe is legit younger than me.
No, because she was finding her kid's frog.
No, she
Let's just say, boom, move on. Prue, what do you think?
I believe half of Lee's story. Is that all right?
Well, that's a first.
Nasty?
Yeah, Tabernacle Man.
Well,
Tabernacle.
he definitely means you, Thomas.
What's the name of our Prime Minister again?
Theresa May.
Yeah, see,
I mean, although at time of broadcast, it won't be.
Well, she had malfunctions on her set and things dropped down on
That's a very good point.
Yes,
things happen
exactly
on the weather all
what
the time.
he's talking about.
Yeah. That's true, actually, yeah. This is like one of those buddy cop movies, isn't it? Where the two different cops have been paired together.
I really don't think this is going to work, but we'll give it a go.
But you get...
That's a very good impression of Big Nasty. Well, my team doesn't think it's Scarlett, so we're ruling out Scarlett, and then it has to be one of Lee or Thomas.
Oh. Knackerman.
All right.
You're going
we'll
with
go
Thomas.
with Thomas.
No, it's not you. Here we go. Zoe, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Zoe, and Scarlett and I discovered we've been burgled last Christmas burglary.
Yes, Zoe is Scarlett's burgled burglar. Thank you very much, Zoe. Please welcome this week's special guest, Justin. So, Aston, what is Justin to you?
This is Justin, and once I did a backflip in a supermarket and landed in his trolley.
Good luck with that one, Aston.
Olivia, how do you know Justin?
This is Justin. He is my neighbour, and he has had a parcel in my hall for the last 7 months. And he's here tonight because I want him to take it home.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Justin?
This is Justin. He tried to recruit me to his underground ping-pong club after being wowed by my skills with the bat.
So, Lee's team, where to begin?
OK, so we know you can do the backflip, Aston. I've seen that in action, so that's true. However, there's a little bit of the story I'm doubting. OK. You flipped and you landed in his shopping trolley.
Yeah.
So the big question is, was that deliberate or was it an accident when you were shopping?
An utter accident.
Oh, come on!
I promise you.
Where was this?
In, where was we, Asda?
And whereabouts in the country was this?
Peterborough.
In Peterborough?
My hometown, yeah. So I was with
You're
my
from
mum. It was
Peterborough?
literally like not long after myself and the boys did the X Factor, and it was just that kind of crazy time when it's a bit like, OK, everyone's...
That like, kind of crazy time where you think, I'll carry on shopping in Asda in Peterborough?
Why would you be doing backflips just casually in a supermarket? I mean, that's the bizarre bit, isn't it?
Basically, some guy and his daughter just, oh, would you do it? Would you do it? Oh, she's a big fan. And I was just like, I mean, I'm in a supermarket.
Were you on your own?
Oh, no, I was with my mum.
To my knowledge, there are two parts of a backflip. The second part is doing the backflip. The first part is having a quick look behind you to check there isn't a trolley or something like that there.
Exactly. Well, that's not part of the backflip, is it? You can't say there's two parts of a backflip. The second part is doing the backflip. You could say that about anything. There's two parts of writing a symphony. The second part is writing a symphony. The first part is the day before you write a symphony.
It's hard to believe that an experienced backflipper wouldn't at some point have learnt to just have a quick...
It's actually on YouTube.
It's on YouTube?
You can check it, yeah.
I can check it? Yeah. Well, then stay there. This is one of the easiest rounds we've ever had. I'm just checking it now, Aston.
We'll use that for proof later. It would slightly be not in the spirit of the game, Lee, to...
And also, it's not going to work on my hand, is it? That's not You see? Better actor than you thought, Rob.
When you do a backflip, you know, you don't normally fly in the air afterwards and land higher up. You just kind of land on the same plane.
If you were deliberately trying to backflip into a trolley, I would say that could be done.
But not by accident, because that could... Oh, my goodness, it could have...
But then again, he's only a little fella, isn't he? He's only little. I bet he flipped and he landed right in that little baby seat. And then off he went and started his life with a new family. Are you claiming that you landed on your feet?
Yeah.
You landed on your feet in the trolley?
And you stayed stood up?
Of course.
Was this man pushing it at the time?
No, it was there.
Did he think
just
you were a
behind
free
me.
gift with the cornflakes? Did you land facing him or facing away?
I'll tell you what, I'll show you.
No, don't do it, don't do it.
I'm going to do it, just to prove you, right? Listen.
Aston, darling, don't do anything dangerous. Aston, be careful.
Let's just know, because I'm going to show you, and just
I
how
wish
high
I'd
as
brought
well.
it up, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. You be
Please
here.
don't do it. No!
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be here.
Oh! Oh, so you did! Right. I'm sorry, I take back everything I've said. However, you're still lying.
Well, what about Olivia?
OK.
Oh, I've forgotten what she said.
Olivia's got a package in her hallway that she's had for 7 months that he should have collected from her, and I'm quite annoyed by that already. When you say neighbour, you mean actual neighbour or
Not
communal...
my immediate neighbour on either side, but he's 3 down the road.
OK, and so he wasn't in and the package came to you with a little card or whatever posted to him to say where it was. Have you still got it?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's here in my dressing room.
Why has it been 7 months?
I don't know. I know he's a wildlife photographer, so he probably travels a lot. And when I've taken it to him, he hasn't been there, so I've left a note. It's still here. And then he's missed me and left a note going, I came, but it wasn't there.
And in the whole 7 months, has he ever left a note to say, sorry, tried to catch...
Oh, yes, 3.
What did the note say?
Sorry.
That was it?
Sorry about the package. I did try, but you weren't in.
The question is this. What is in that package?
I haven't opened it, but it's an irritating shape because you can't get the pushchair through the door hole. You have to fold down the pushchair to get past it.
What? How
so
big
it's
is
long
it?
and thin, and I think it might be, I don't know, a blind or a, curtain rail.
What's the girth? Is it like that sort of girth?
There's a lot of packaging around it.
So he can't get through his letterbox. You haven't
Oh, no. So you have to... That's the whole point. Well, that's been so irritating. We have to ring the doorbell. He's not there.
OK.
And she said it's really irritating. She sort of looked at him apologetically as if to say, I didn't mean to call you here on telly to say you're an irritating neighbour.
But she is a professional actress.
I know.
So, I mean, she could just be lying.
That's very good, though.
So you've brought it in tonight? You've brought it in?
That's... I thought this would be an extreme...
Is this the only reason you've come on the show? Just to give back a parcel?
What about David and the table tennis?
Oh, we're actually going through with all that, are we?
David, remind us of your supposition.
He tried to recruit me for his underground ping-pong club because he was impressed by my skills with the bat.
Can I just check, when you say underground, do you mean underground literally, it's underground, or do you mean it's a bit devious?
I don't think there was any illegality, but it was, to a certain extent, subterranean. It was in a sort of basement.
In his basement?
No, in the basement of an advertising agency.
Are you good at table tennis?
I'm a bit good at table tennis. Not very good, but
I
I'm
want to get to
better
the
than you'd expect me to be.
And how did this man see you play table tennis?
Well, I played it there at the basement.
How do you know him?
He's a friend. I know him in my life. He works in the media.
To be absolutely clear what you're saying, apart from me and Rob, you have another friend.
You said, David, in your statement, he was wowed by your table tennis.
Yeah.
I've seen you play table tennis, but I don't picture you as being particularly adept at any sport. You don't mind me saying that?
Don't I? OK. Good to know, because I was wondering what I was experiencing. But
Talk me through your serve.
Well, I sort of go...
That's a bog standard. You don't do...
No, because I like to keep my tongue in my mouth.
Right, ready?
OK.
I played it to your forehand, you idiot.
Well, I couldn't see the ball's invisible.
Because you're not an actor of sufficient imagination, are you?
If you were a better actor, Rob, you'd know which side that you serve. Do you want me me to serve to you, David.
What? Don't stop playing with him. No.
It's all right, we can get it over.
No. Stop it. Give me your bat. So there you were, playing table tennis in this underground car park, and what you did wowed him enough to say, please join our team.
No, well, firstly, he'd invited me to see the club. Yeah. So I hadn't just turned up and he saw me across a crowded underground ping pong.
I'm not suggesting romance was involved.
Seeing people across a crowded area doesn't mean there's romance involved.
Typically, the expression, I saw him or her cross a crowded room infers romance.
It implies.
Well, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Justin Aston's shocked shopper, Olivia's neglectful neighbour, or is he David's ping-pong pal?
I think anyone that's prepared to stand there that long while all this is going on is a wildlife photographer.
Or one of the others, and he's been told to stand there for that long.
If what you're saying there is true, Michaela, then we've had a wildlife photographer on every single episode.
Do you know what he doesn't look like? A man who shops at Asda. He has got Waitrose written all over his face, hasn't he?
I think Olivia's story is very believable.
The apologetic look when she described him as an irritant is either the greatest piece of acting of my generation or a typically British response of, I've got my neighbour on telly and told the whole country how annoying he is.
I'm torn, but I'll go with Olivia then.
You think it's Olivia? Right. Justin, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Justin, and I tried to recruit David for my underground ping-pong club.
Yes, Justin is David's ping-pong pal. Thank you very much, Justin.
I once set a sauna on fire.
What? How?
I was in Brazil.
Of course.
And I was in the sauna and I decided to pour vodka
Oh, my God.
on the rocks of the sauna.
Because you thought that's what vodka on the rocks was?
Yeah. No, I tell you how it started was my friend told me I was in Cornwall, of all places, and my friend said...
Can I jump in here and
Yeah.
say, did your parents know you were drinking?
I wasn't a minor. I was 18 and a half.
Isn't 18 and a half 18 once you get to be an adult?
Well, no.
So true. Who says 18 and a half?
You're in Cornwall. I was in Cornwall, and my friend said to me, if you go and lie in the bath and pour vodka in it, like a shot of vodka...
In the bath?
In the bath, it gets you drunk. I didn't go and do it, but then...
A shot of vodka in a bath?
Because of the fumes, it gets you drunk. So I was in Brazil travelling, and my friend had a sauna in their apartment. So I was left alone, and so
I've heard about these Brazilian slums.
So you're left alone in this flat
I was left
with
alone.
a bottle of vodka, and you thought, if only there was some way I could use this bottle of vodka to make me become drunk.
Where were you in Brazil?
I was in Rio.
Ah, that is in Brazil. Yep, tick.
Solid answer.
Continue.
In Rio. I was in a foreign country. I was young. I was experimenting, so I thought one experiment with...
Why did you look at me when you said you were experimenting?
I decided to take the bottle of vodka into my sauna and pour it onto the rocks. As I poured it onto the rocks, it went into flames and it burnt the sauna.
So you poured it onto the rocks, and immediately what happened?
So I poured it onto the rocks and started to flames.
Just one shot of it, or the whole bottle?
The half a bottle. So
Half a bottle of vodka?
Wow. Yeah, no, it's...
At 18 and a half, you change the rules. So, and so the fire engines turned up and we...
No, hang on. We've missed a beat here. You're in the sauna.
Yeah.
You've poured half a bottle of vodka onto the rock things. Flames are appearing.
Yes.
You're sitting there. What are you wearing?
Well, I was going to go...
They've told me to make the show sexier.
I was going to go in naked because I thought that's what you do, but I actually put on my swimming trunks. So I wore swimming trunks in there. But
How low down your leg did they go?
Mine are slightly... They're
Give me
not
some
too
inches
long.
above the knee.
I would say about 7 inches.
Above the knee?
Above the knee.
If you go 7 inches above my knee, you get to my waist.
Nice. So you're sitting in there, in your trunks on the slats, and the flames have started. What do you do?
I thought the best option was to pick them up and throw them...
The rocks?
Yeah, because I thought that... Yeah.
They must be boiling
Oh,
up.
well, that's what I found out, obviously.
You found out? You must have suspected they were hot, because you knew they were producing the heat, surely.
But you were in that panic.
No, not even in the panic do I go,
bear in mind, he was 18 and a half.
So I try and pick up the rocks to throw them out the door and realise they were...
Out of the door?
Yeah, well, because there's a... What else is there?
Because you really wanted at this point to spread the fire through the rest of the apartment.
What's on the other side of the door? The hall, the living room? What?
A lovely balcony.
I know you can...
So you want to throw on the passers-by outside?
Nothing says Rio like a falling, flaming vodka rock.
My thought process was to pick up the rocks, throw them out the door, and it would have been fine. However, they picked up the rocks, they were too hot, so they fell on the ground, and the fire went. And I
How
thought...
can you not know that the rocks are... Are you so posh?
I told
Are you so posh you don't understand the concept of coal?
Have you ever cooked something and you've gone, oh, this one, open up the oven and gone to take it out with your hands?
No.
OK.
So, David, what is your team thinking about this?
Claudia?
I think it's true. Apartment, balcony, he's waiting for everyone to go, trunks on, vodka there. Finally, everything comes into place.
There we go.
Yeah.
Finally, a chance to put my trunks on. Everyone's out.
What do you think?
I'm on your side, doesn't matter.
It's interesting to know.
So what are you going to say, then?
I think we'll say true.
OK. Jamie, were you telling the truth, or was it a lie?
It was true.
Yes, it's true. Jamie did set a sauna on fire. Jade, you're next.
Whenever someone sits down next to me in public, I always say boing out loud just as their bottom hits the seat and then see what happens next.
David's team.
So as they sit down, does it have to be right next to you, or...?
They have to be able to hear me say it.
Do you say it quietly? Do you say it loud?
I don't think I've ever done anything quietly in my life. Do you want to demonstrate?
Yeah, let's have a go.
I'll demonstrate.
Lee, can you stand?
Just about. What's this for acting?
Boy,
And is it...
that was unusual. Yeah. Do you vary the boings according to who's sitting down?
Yes.
What would you do? What would you do for David? Would you
Absolutely.
stand
Come
up?
on, David.
Let's let David sit and just go with the flow here, Jade.
All right, OK.
OK.
Boing.
Much perter.
I'm trying to work out which is best.
I know which is best. I think it's very clear which is best.
Jade, would you indulge me?
OK.
Well, stand up, then.
I am standing up.
Boing.
Is that a Welsh boy?
Yeah. It's just quite Welsh, but also quite seductive.
Ellie, what do you think?
I can see it, you doing it. Do you have to be on it? Do you have to be focused? So when someone sits down, they go, boing.
I don't think about it that hard. It's just... if someone...
You can spot the Olympian, can't you? You have to be on it. You have to be focused. I don't really think about it, really. OK, David, it's time to be a captain, to be a leader.
Okay, what do you think?
Real leadership quality, that.
I would love it to be true, but I think it might be false.
I think that, having got to know you, I think this is absolutely credible. I think it's very much the truth.
David?
Well, I was going to say it's probably not the truth, because what she said is that every time someone sits down next to her, she goes boing. And I don't think anyone would do that. OK, we're going to say it's not true, it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK, Jade, was it true or was it a lie?
It's a lie.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Shabs. Sean, what is Shabs to you?
This is Shabs. I keep my chicken drumsticks in his nuclear bunker.
Right, so, Sean's bunker buddy. Johnny, how do you know Shabs?
This is Shabs, and he used to regularly park cars on my foot to stop me going anywhere.
Johnny's parking prankster. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Shabs?
This is Shabs, and he's taught his parrot to say, "Nice shoes, Dave," whenever I enter his cobblers.
Lee's team, where will you begin?
Should we start with Sean? Let's start with Sean,
Yes.
I think, yeah? You leave your chicken drumsticks in his nuclear shelter. Is that what you're claiming?
Yes.
OK, enough questions. Johnny. Where is this nuclear shelter?
In a field out the back of his garden.
Which part of the country?
Mid-Kent.
I don't think anyone's ever referred to whatever area you're talking about as Mid-Kent. I mean, people say, where are you from? Oh, I'm mid-British. You're not Mid-Kent.
Well, you say I'm from the Midlands. That's the middle of Britain, isn't it? But anyway... Sean, has he got a freezer in his nuclear bunker?
A very large chest freezer.
How many chicken drumsticks have you got in it?
Oh, there's probably in there, I'd say it's a pack of 10... Because it's not just drumsticks, you see.
Oh, you're not running a catering firm on the side?
No, I have meat mass-delivered, and sometimes I need an overflow. Well, from a regular delivery from a butcher's.
Right. Why are you buying so much meat?
Because what's happening particularly this year, I've been working away a lot, so I haven't been going through the amount of meat I normally go through. So at the moment, it's just a bit of an overflow.
Well, why didn't you stop the order?
How do you know Shabs?
Sure. I know Shabs from my local pub cricket team.
What fielding position?
Well, yeah, slip and number 4 batsman.
Right. And what does he do?
All-rounder. Excellent.
No, all right, sorry. He does everything. He bats, he bowls, he freezes your meat.
Sean, I've never been into a nuclear bunker. What's it like?
OK, so basically, when you approach it, you'll see something that might look like a sort of white, woodeny, one of those slatted beehives, the square beehives.
A slatted beehive,
yeah,
yes.
But what that is, that's, I think, is the air conditioning, purifying system. And then there's almost like a hatch, like a submarine hatch.
Yes.
So you climb down a ladder, a metal ladder...
Sorry, can I just check? Have you been watching the Teletubbies recently?
And then you get down the bottom of the ladder. Is there a living area, a bedroom?
Yes, there's a living area. He has got a television and a cracking stack.
Oh, yeah, because after the nuclear war, you're going to get a lot of telly, aren't you? I bet EastEnders survives.
The cockroach of TV shows.
You said it.
I can't go back. I can't go back. But he's got a cracking selection of videos.
Oh, I bet he has.
Video player.
I know. The truth comes out.
Yeah.
Just going to see Shabs to get some chicken drumsticks, love. Shall be long.
Right, Lee, who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Johnny, so just remind us again what this fella did to you.
He used to park cars on my foot so I couldn't move.
You couldn't move?
On your prosthetic foot?
Obviously on the prosthetic one.
He's a friend of yours that did this, or is he...
I used to work in a garage, and Shabs worked in the garage.
Where was this, Mid-Kent?
In St Ives.
St Ives?
St Ives?
Not Cornwall St Ives, Cambridgeshire St Ives.
I mean, how did he do it? Because surely you sort of saw the car coming and you moved away.
He'd try and stop on the foot, but sometimes he'd miss. But if he got it, he'd pull the handbrake and get out the car and walk off.
I want to know, how did it start the first time?
I was working there and Shabs joined, and one of the other guys told me it'd be quite funny because he didn't know that I had a prosthetic leg, to get my foot trapped under a wheel.
To try and spook him?
Yes, but it didn't.
Oh, right.
It awoke a sort of bloodlust in him, didn't it?
So the start of this story was that
It was all
I thought
humorous.
that he was perhaps bullying you a bit, and it turns out it's the other way round completely.
The person you tried to bully at work turned out to be a sociopath.
Right, what about David?
Why does he keep a parrot in the cobblers?
As a pet.
As a
Does
pet?
Yeah, he's not a colleague.
Did you go to the cobblers a lot then? Because for him to go through all the effort of teaching a parrot
Yeah.
to say nice shoes, Dave, I mean, I've probably been to a cobbler's like twice in the last 5 years. So do your shoes kind of wear out really quickly, or...?
Well, I suppose I probably do go to the cobblers quite a lot.
OK, then that's fine.
And what sort of voice does the parrot have? Could you give us a taste of the parrot?
I'm so sorry?
A flavour.
You want me to do an impression?
Not so much an impression, more an evocation.
I suppose it would be sort of... I don't know what it's going to sound like until it comes out, so I'll be...
I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite
I'm just
bad.
going to say, yeah, I'm listening to it at the same time as you, so...
Welcome to my world.
Nice shoes, Dave.
That was horrible. That was the most horrible thing you've ever done.
Nothing like a parrot.
You've done some horrible things, but that was horrible.
Well, look, it's a parrot. You know,
It doesn't sound like a parrot. Are you sure it's not just a rather exotic man that works with Shabs?
Obviously, what you've got to understand is what you heard there wasn't the parrot. That was me.
But it was you
So
trying
if you're
to...
saying, that parrot sounds like a man pretending to be a parrot. I'm not
But
sure
it
that's
didn't even
conclusive.
sound like that, did it? Any parrot worth his salt would say, nice shoes, Dave.
Listen, Rob. You're in the chair. If you want to do a parrot impression at any point, you can just do it. We don't have to go around this ridiculous process.
What's the name of Shabs's parrot?
Graham.
It's sounding more and more like it is a man. There's a man stood in the corner of the shop. This parrot, is he 6 foot?
No.
Does he smoke a cigarette and go, all right, Dave, nice shoes?
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Shabs Sean's bunker buddy, Johnny's parking prankster, or David's parrot pal?
I thought Sean told a great story. I love the fact that he's putting his drumsticks in his bunker.
Do you think that's perfectly acceptable?
That sounds like a euphemism, doesn't it?
You believe her?
Here's a question. Does Shabs look like the type of person who would have a nuclear bunker?
Definitely.
I think that Shabs looks like he could work in a garage.
What about David?
The bit I doubt is the fact that you're going to the cobblers so regularly, because that would be the actions of a man who cares what he looks like.
What shoes have you got on tonight?
Do you want me to show you my
Yes,
shoes?
please.
Yes, please.
Should we have a look and see if they're worn?
Oh, nice shoes, Dave.
And they
It's easily done, isn't it?
yeah, these have never been to the cobblers.
You seem to be spending a lot of effort on the shoes and less effort to iron your trousers. That be a lesson to you, young man.
I didn't realise my offer to show you my shoes was going to lead to mockery.
You must have had an
David, you
inkling.
must have suspected it.
Yes.
So you're saying Johnny? Emma?
Yes.
You're saying Johnny?
Reluctantly, I am.
OK. Right. Shabs, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Shabs, and I used to park cars on Johnny's for...
Yes, Shabs is Johnny's parking prankster. Thank you very much, Shabs.
OK.
As a child, I struck up a friendship with the 9 men who lived in my garden.
Please, Tim.
Who were the 9 men that lived in your garden?
So they were gardeners. Which sounds weird, but in Zimbabwe, for your gardeners to live in your garden, it's not a big deal because there's so much space for them.
So how big was this garden?
It was huge.
I mean, in acreage.
What, 40 acres?
40
Is that
acres?
a lot?
Is it a lot?
At the time, I was a child, so I was interested in things like Pokemon, not acreage.
I was interested in acreage.
If they lived there, at what point did they become not gardeners, but tenants?
So they provided services, right? So gardening, they were singing gardeners.
They were what?
They discovered they had a talent for harmonising.
Right.
So they would sing whilst gardening.
What were their names?
Yes.
OK, listen.
And if you say dopey and sneezy, etc., you're going to run out.
OK, one of them was called Clever. One of them was called Blessing. I can't remember the others. But what I do remember is my dad, I'm his only son, so I'm his pride and joy, OK?
Right.
This man would do anything.
You're his only son.
OK. I knew that he would rely on me to give him the word on the ground as to which gardeners should we get rid of. It's a lot of people to pay.
Ah. So he basically only wanted a couple, but he thought start with 9, get it down to 2, and they're the full-time gardeners. How old are you at this time?
It's like maybe 8, 9.
So did you whittle it down to 2 gardeners for your dad?
Eventually whittled it down to 1.
To 1?
Because one day I had a catapult and one of the gardeners was reading the Bible. I took a fruit. It was like a cherry, but orange.
Oh, an orange?
No, it was... It was as small as a cherry.
Oh,
so
right.
I take this
Tangerine.
cherry. Let me land.
A kumquat.
A kumquat. So, shot the kumquat, and it hit him at the back of the head. And he then went to my dad and said, look, this is what your son has done to me. So eventually we ended up with 1, and his name was Blessing. So it turns out to be the complete right
Do
name
anything
for
to him, hit him with a rounder's bat, didn't mind.
Yeah.
And you said they sung, they could harmonise.
Until 8 of them got fired, and then it was Blessing singing on his own. Covered in bruises.
What are you thinking, Alice?
I don't believe it. That seems like a very, very ornate tissue of lies to me.
What about you, Bob?
You wielded a lot of power as an 8-year-old.
He did, didn't he?
Weapons testing on your staff and...
I mean, he doesn't come out of it well, does he?
But I changed. I'm a changed man.
Right, what's it going to be?
I say true.
We'll say it's true.
You're going to say it is true. OK, Munya, was it true or was it a lie?
Well, it was indeed true.
Yes, it's true.
Possession.
There'll be a box at the side of your desk.
Yeah.
Take the item out of the box, put it on the desk, and once you've done that, read the card if you would.
This is my sports bag, and halfway through signing it, I told Pele to put his pen down because I thought he was ruining it.
Please, team.
Well, that's very interesting. Is that a Brazil bag?
It's actually a New York Cosmos bag.
Oh, of course. So when did you meet Pele?
Well, Pele was the face of New York Cosmos. They paid him a lot of money to sort of front the rebranding of New York Cosmos. And
also the face of impotence.
Yes,
He is.
exactly.
Yes, that's true.
Pele was put up for an interview.
What year was that?
Probably about 2011.
So you already had that bag?
No, this was the bag that they gave you as like a goodie bag when you went to the press conference.
Was there stuff inside it?
There was some pencils and...
There were some pencils.
There was some
What did he say?
pencils.
He said there was some pencils.
I meant to say there was a pencil.
Were there any pencils or not?
There were pencils in there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
See, there was pencils.
No, now you're...
There were some pencils in there
Yeah.
and a flannel.
No, there were a flannel. There were a flannel. May we have a look at the bag?
I'm told it's been sanitised.
But he's touched it now.
I've only touched the back handle.
I'm going to put my arm through it like this.
I've never seen you look more handsome.
OK.
OK. That's interesting.
Lee, if you look there, right, that says PE.
Well, it's a sports bag.
Exactly. Which is amazing, because the reason I didn't want him to sign it was because I wanted to use it in the gym, and now that's my gym bag with PE written on it, you see?
I mean, I understand the concept of not wanting the signature if you think the bag's better, but if he started it, is it not better to finish it than have just PE?
Right, so I'd taken a Brazil shirt with me.
For him to sign?
So I gave it to the great man, and he signed the shirt, full signature on the shirt. And I think it was like an all the best Dan Pele, OK?
I didn't know his first name was Dan.
I took the shirt, I turned and put it on my normal bag that I brought with me, and then when I turned back, the great man had my bag that he picked up, and without thinking, I said, "Not the bag, Pele." And,
What an idiot Pele is! Put the pen down, Pele, you maniac!
What must Pele have thought of you? Because this bag was given to you for free.
He sort of stared at me angrily, and then he said, "No one's ever asked me not to sign anything before."
Did he have a translator?
No, he spoke perfect English.
Really?
Yeah.
He does speak English.
Does he?
Yeah. Are you impotent? That's pretty good English if you know the word impotent. So, Dan, so at this point, they're looking at you as if... And he said, no one has asked me not to sign something before.
Yeah.
What happens then?
I think we can see why he signed the impotence contract.
Yeah.
Someone just put it in front of him.
Dan, I don't understand why you didn't want Pele to sign a bag. Why?
Because I really like the bag.
Yeah, but imagine having a bag signed by Pele, waiting until, God forbid, one day he passes on to a better place, and selling it on eBay.
So do you have a lot of signed memorabilia by people and you're waiting for them to die?
Well, all that stuff I've got you to sign. All those Peep Show DVDs, I'm not watching them, that's for sure. So, what are you thinking? Sarah, do you think this could be true?
No, I don't think anyone would stop Pele signing their bag. I think it's a lie.
Mr. Motivator, MBE.
A lie.
OK. We're saying it's a lie.
It's unanimous. They think it's a lie. Dan,
yes.
It's a great story. Was it true or was it a lie?
I can tell you that the story is... true.
Yes, it's true. Dan really did stop Pele from signing his bag.
Ah, right. Bin's on. Right.
Can I just check, are they the right glasses? Because you're pausing.
No, I was once asked to host an awards ceremony after being mistaken for someone else.
Was it Rob Brydon? Was it Rob Brydon's son?
Oh, that Death in Paradise has gone downhill since Ardle left it.
Well, first of all, who was this person?
Well, our esteemed host.
So it was Rob?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. OK.
Do you know that you look alike?
Well, I don't know that. I do know this. He's a very good-looking man.
I mean, it's a pleasure being next to the handsomest man on television. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much.
So, talk us through how this mix-up came about, then.
I was at a do, and somebody asked me if I would host this particular awards.
And what were the awards
ceremony.
for?
It was sort of building industry contractors awards thing. Would I go and give out the awards for best cement? I said, "What's the fee?" By the way.
Oh, that's when he thought you were Rob Brydon.
And it was quite considerable, so I took it.
When they thought you were Rob, did you immediately say, "No, I'm not Rob"?
No, I just laughed it off.
Did you did the gig or you didn't?
Yeah, I did the
You
gig.
did?
Yeah.
I tell you what, when they saw you walk out, there'll be a fair few people saying, "Good God, he's shot up." I had that late growth spurt.
I'd like to know more about the cement. I don't think either of you would be booked for cement. I've done these gigs.
You've done these corporates
I've done
yourself?
Chip Fat.
Have you?
Yeah.
What, the Chip Fat Awards?
hold on.
You haven't done the Chip Fat
There's
Awards.
a Chip Fat
Yeah,
Awards. I
I got
understand
booked.
you would question my cement awards and then give me Chip Fat.
I don't believe it.
You don't?
I don't, and I'm really gullible.
Why don't you believe it?
It's the cement for me.
What about you, Ralph? What are you thinking?
I think it's a lie.
It's got to be a lie.
OK. Right. You lovely-looking man. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
Whenever I'm in the recording studio, I can only rap in complete darkness.
Well, David, what are the chances that somebody else has the same method as you? What do you think?
Complete darkness.
Complete, absolute, nothing on.
Why?
Because I don't like anybody to see me when I'm performing. It's a bit weird, actually, when I think about it.
But you've got like 60 million views on YouTube.
It's different, though, because it's just me and the cameraman. And then, you know, when you get into the studio, it's quite intimate.
I feel anxious about the fire escape light. What do you do about that?
Classic Mike. She's talking rap, you're talking health and safety.
So let me ask you this, then. If it's total darkness, you can't be looking at any lyric... I was going to say sheet music, but I suppose if you're rapping, it's not that.
I'm so sorry about my granddad.
You can't be looking at lyrics. Have you memorised the lyrics, or are you improvising the lyrics?
Sometimes I will be prepared, so I've already written the lyrics in my phone.
Well, for your generation, the phone is a companion, isn't it? It's more than it is for Lee, which is sort of a lifeline. It's a friend, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Have you got the red button in the bathroom now as well?
Yes. And what about the other musicians in the studio?
So there was a time when I randomly ended up in studio with Peter Andre.
Peter Andre?
Yeah, so weird, isn't it?
Wow.
And
But his orange glow just lit up the room.
but he genuinely was saying, you know, what are you doing? I was like, this is the only way I can record.
So how did it come about?
So that came about because I was on the Celebrity Circle.
Lisa, for the sake of older guys like Lee, just explain the circle and what it was.
Right, so the Celebrity Circle, it was basically... It's like a text screen, and you can only
So,
text...
Rob, can you explain what texting is?
It's just that little thing on your phone when you
For
press
Lee,
send.
can you explain what a screen is? It's not that thing they bring round the bed when they change your dressing. It's a different sort.
For Rob, could you just speak a bit louder?
For Lee, could you not make any sudden movements?
Could you take Rob to the toilet?
What do we think, Philippa? This is one for a psychotherapist to unpick.
It's a lie, no. You don't believe it? No, because I believe it.
And you're quite excited by it as
no,
well,
no,
which is nice to see.
What do you think?
I think she's playing you like a fiddle. I think lie.
I'm very comfortable with this scenario because if you both think it's a lie, I'm not going to overrule you. We'll go lie, but I'll say, oh, actually, I thought it was true, and that is win-win. We are going to say lie.
All right, let's find out. Lady Leisha, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was the truth.
Yes, it's true.